for me, yeah. Jam, oh jam, jam, Teddy jam for me, yeah. Teddy jam for me, yeah.
Hit me with a mic check, Wyatt, one time. What's good? We're in the building. What's good with everyone? Sorry I'm late. Came home, set up everything here at the studio, took a shower, ate a bologna sandwich, and here I am. What's good with everyone? How's everyone feeling today? I appreciate the twos and the fews that are here right now. I know we get going right around 1:30ish. So I try to give enough people enough time. I try to give enough time for the people to come in and settle down and have a seat. Smart ones sit in the front. C students sit in the middle. Dumb ones, y'all go ahead and sit in the back like you did in high school. Didn't want to be in front of the teacher because you were scared they was gonna call your name. What's good with everybody? I'm just playing, just having fun, trying to get into my mode that I'm normally in. It's been one of them days today. Thank you, Donna. She said the mic sounds nice. Let me just tell you, yesterday the devil was sitting on my shoulder, and I thought that he was going to be on my shoulder this morning, but he was nowhere to be found. And it just comes from the grace of God and being strong and being able to weather those storms of bad conditions. You feel me? Just being able to weather the storms of bad conditions and bad things. I'm sure we all know that bad things happen to good people. You know what I'm saying? So it just happens. Things in this world happen. They happen probably for a reason. I think everything that's ever happened to me in life, um, I never, I'm new. Let me just start off. Everything that's happened bad in my life, early in life, I thought it was for some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why me? Why me? Why me? As I got a little older, I understood that the bad things in my life happened to me to prepare me for something different, to teach me a lesson. I very seldom learned lessons in life from some good stuff. You don't pay attention when something good happens to you. You don't pay attention to the lesson in that. The lesson is usually in the bad stuff. That's what make the lesson. That's what make it good. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you could be a positive thinking person, you have to say all the lessons in life turn out to be, turn out to be good for you. Whether it's a bad experience, a mediocre experience, you know what I'm saying? All experiences, you got to find a lesson in it. Even if it's good, start paying attention to the lessons in something good. I'll give you an example of how a person does not pay attention to a lesson when the lesson happens to be a good blessing, but didn't pay attention to the message. A person that hits the lottery, they hit the light and they can, oh Lord, thank you, Lord, all day long. But most of them don't pay attention to the lesson of the blessing. They really don't. They really don't. They really don't. I trust. That's why they go broke. 80% of lottery winners go broke. Anybody that runs into a windfall of money, not used to having money, generally goes broke, no matter how much it is. If you win a lottery for $1,000, you're not rich. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to blow that just as fast as you would, it's just crazy. I heard of the lady that won $380 million in South Carolina on the lottery. Did you guys hear about that story? And I think in 3 years she was broke. Not to mention that her pastor pimped her a little bit, pimped her money. That always helped. That always helped get your money gone. You tithing and giving the church your little money, and now they know how much you got. The pastor all of a sudden becomes, a real estate agent. Pastor all of a sudden becomes, some type of stock exchange broker or something. He's super, super knowledgeable of money. But the church need a new furnace and they need new concrete work out front and all this old shit. Matter of fact, instead of fixing the concrete and getting a new furnace, Sister Dorothy, we sure would like to get a new church. How much is that? Oh, it ain't nothing but 10 million, girl. You got that. Let me show you how to spend it. That's what they do. So I want to thank everybody. Today was I was out and about today. I got a little bit going on this week. I'm working from home today. I was out ripping and running. I'm in a certain kind of mood right now. Let me show you guys the early birds. Let me show y'all something right now. Can somebody help me? Where AK-47 help me out? I need all my original Wyatt Live members who know my struggles with my babies being gone out of the house, out of the home. I need you all to help me out with something. It's been a long time since I've had a tearjerker or a story about a kid, one of my kids being gone out of the house. You feel me? Um, I had a moment this morning. Angela Kinney, I want to answer that. Can I answer that right after I tell you my moment? I promise you. If I don't, please remind me, because you know I get on a rip and a run. And I want to answer that because I've been doing really well. Right now, I'm spending a lot of money. Okay. I'm spending a lot of money, and I'll tell you why, AK. I had a moment this morning, guys. When I work from home, I tend to snoop around my own house. When I work in the office, I come home. I usually get home and do the 1 o'clock show, and then I don't. I have to get into. I go to my office within the house here, and I just work. Right, I work. I watch television, and I do what I need to do. I'm usually in my office. My wife is gonna kill me because she know this is true. I'm usually in the office at home here till probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I'll stay in my office. You gotta understand, my office is almost like I mean, I don't have to leave. I could stay there overnight if I really wanted to be honest with you. But I've been getting a little flack for a little while with my wife, and she understands that I'm a hard worker. I'm dedicated, and I put a lot of time in. She understands that. So I'm always here at the house, but I'm always working. That all being said, I worked from home today. And when I work from home, I snoop around my own house. I don't really get a chance to walk around that much. I don't go into rooms. I don't really do much. I can count on, well, probably half of a hand how many rooms I go into my home. I got quite a few rooms, but I don't go in them. You know what I'm saying? I don't walk around my house. Today I had a wake-up call. Um, I, I went into my daughter's room, who my oldest. We still call it her room because my wife said, we always want to keep her room there because you never know in life. You never know. And I'm all for that. I would have never, my daughters could have lived with me forever. I would have never kicked them out unless some dumb shit happened. You know what I'm saying? They could make $1 million a year. They're always welcome to live in my home. I'm just cut like that. And they always have, I always want them to know that my home is open for them, because I don't want them to go through unnecessary struggles, or I don't want them to be with men who are financially secure and treating them like shit, and they feel stuck and they feel like they don't have anywhere to go. I didn't raise young ladies like that, but I'm just saying I want my home to always be welcome to them, like most parents on here. But and there's some parents that are like, no, at 18 you getting out. You didn't even help them figure they shit out in life, but at 18 they gotta go. And I'm like, boy, that's a sorry if your shoe fit. I'm talking to you. That's a bullshit ass parent. You didn't steer your kid in a direction that they wanted to go or do, and this and this and that. You didn't steer them towards school, trade school. You didn't steer them toward career. You didn't do anything. You just put them in school. You fulfilled your parental duties, and you think that's all you're supposed to do. And you really didn't do all the parental duties, because parental duties would have let you know you got to steer your kids in a certain direction, a direction of their talent. Give them plan A and plan B and a plan C, and maybe even a plan D. You feel me? Some of us don't do that. We think our children are our obligation only to the age of 18, maybe even 21. Me, I'm going to be a parent to the day I die. All right. So that means my home is always welcome for both of my daughters. That all being said, I had a wake up moment. AK, help me out. I'm gonna need you to pick me up off the ground. I'm laying real low, sis. I'm laying real low. Donna, I need your help too. Steve Speed, if you can help. I walked in my daughter's room. Now, she's been gone now for probably, well, it's 4 years of college, coming back and blah, blah, blah. But now she's out pretty much on her own because she's in law, she's in medical school. And she has her own place now. And she's doing really well. Combination of school and work, because she has to work. She has to work with the hospitals and that type of stuff. I didn't really understand that they had to put in so many hours of volunteering and work in medical school. I didn't realize that. Well, that all being said, I had a wake up call this morning, and it was my daughter's room. I walked in and it was empty. Nothing on the bookshelves, nothing, nothing of significance. It's just empty. And my wife's been working on the room and it's like brand new everything, bedspreads, and you know what I'm saying, just normal stuff. But I still see my baby there, but she's not there. You feel me? Here's my wake up call. I opened the drawers, the dresser drawers. Let me show you what I'm talking about here so y'all won't, so you can get a better idea of what I'm saying. There it is. I don't know if you guys can see that. Those are the dresser drawers at the very bottom. I open the drawers up and they're empty because the room feels empty. And normally she would have like her t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts and stuff like that in this particular drawer because sometime mom would wash them and sit them in the if I'm going up that way, I'll take her sweatshirts and hoodies and stuff and sit them on her bed or whatever, and she could put them in her drawer and all that. And when I seen that, that crushed me because we've been doing that since they were children, since they were little bitty kids. You know what I'm saying? We would go up, take the hoodies, Ohio State hoodies, sweatshirts, school hoodies, whatever, and put them in the in their drawers or sit them right there on top of the dresser drawer and let them put them in or whatever. And boy, I broke up when I didn't see anything in there. I was like, my baby gone. I think she gone forever, y'all. I think she gone forever. It was a wake-up call. This is one of the reasons why I have to get out of the house. This is one of the reasons. That's right, Donna, bone dry. This is one of the reasons why I have to go to the office. I can work from home, but working from home is difficult for me. It's very difficult for me because of my children. They're not here. They're not, every room reminds me of them. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a time, we had a moment, and that's just something special. And real fathers know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm saying? Real daddies know what I'm talking about, man. Ain't nothing like your little girls going and it's got to be different. I don't know because I don't have a son, but ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to be, biased just towards my daughters, but I have to say to you, it has to be different when a girl leaves the home versus a boy. I know girls can't wait to leave, boys will stay forever. I understand all of that shit. But when your daughter leaves, there is this sense of protection that a father has that we generally have this insecurity, like I can't help I can't help her. Like I can't help her if something go wrong. Like if she, you know what I'm saying? I just can't help her. I'm so far away. I can't do this. I can't do that. And being all the way in Columbus, and oh man, she's so far away. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's hard to do sometimes. That all being said, I'm very proud of my daughters, such as I'm sure everybody here proud of their kids. But I remember some of y'all lying to me right here on the air. Y'all lied to me. And y'all told me that empty nest shit was going to be good. I don't think so. It's been a year now, and that empty nest shit ain't working for me. It ain't working for me. All right, so quick thing. It is spring break here in Florida. Have y'all seen a lot of people, a lot of cities here in Florida are getting rid of kids? They don't want them coming down to Florida. They don't want them coming to the beaches. It's just too much drama. It's too much going on. There's shooting going on. There's a bunch of parties and shit going on. The violence is leading the way. Florida is about to shut down spring break. Take y'all asses to South Carolina somewhere. Go to Georgia. Go to Louisiana. Go somewhere else. We don't want you coming down here tearing up our beaches. The money is not worth it. And what's going to happen is this. Mark my words. What's today's date? Wednesday, March the 18th, 2026. When Florida coastal cities start shutting down spring break, here's what they're going to say. All those restaurants and them stores, they all racist. They're not going to bring up the shit that's going on right now. They're not going to talk about parties going on, shootings going on, trampedes are going on, illegal activity, underage drinking, is going on, risking all these bars and these restaurants their license because people are going in buying alcohol, coming out with it and giving it to 14, 15, 16-year-olds. When did 14-year-olds start going to spring break? When did they start getting on flight? Maybe they drove. I don't know if they drove here or what. I would never let my daughter, 14 years old, leave Columbus, Ohio on her own or with a group of friends. 14, 15, going to a city for spring break. Come on now. Were you 14, 15 going to Freaknik? Hell no. I don't understand these parents, bro. I don't understand the parents today. It's crazy as hell to me. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand it. But what's gonna happen is when all these cities, coastal cities, start shutting down these venues or the city saying no spring break. We're not doing spring break. They're going to holler up and down the coastal side of Florida when they shut it down. And what none of you all are going to do, none of you gonna go back and say, yeah, it was wild, it was off the hook, yeah, it was shootings, it's just happening. Look, it happened in my city. Remember when I was doing Wyatt Live? I was at home. I did an episode poolside, and I was like, "It's spring break, y'all," and I don't know if I'm gonna go out. I can't go out. The spring breakers are getting close to my house. Remember I told y'all that, and I was trying not to sound all uppity and shit. I was trying not to be that guy, but I was trying to be cool. I left. I took a picture. I did my video, and I'm showing you all these people that look like us running and ripping and running the streets where I live. And I'm like, this shit is too close. It's too close to where I live. They right there on the beach, and it was a shooting on the strip. Now I don't live near the strip. I'm off the strip. You know what I'm saying? But I'm close to the water. And where there's water, there's going to be spring breakers. And now, in our area, it's been told by the HOA and all this, they all voted and they said, look, man, look, the Hooters and all that shit down on the strip, they're under, not under investigation. They didn't quite do that, but they did give them a curfew. And the Hooters and the different places, the Jacks and all those restaurants down there on the strip down there, they all agreed that they would shut their doors by 7 p.m. Now that's costing them all kind of business. They would rather not be in business that day. And I mean, because partiers aren't going in there at 7 o'clock. They might go in there and grab some lunch, but them $20 lunches is not worth it to them. They need that nighttime life. They need nighttime life in Florida if you're going to survive as a restaurant or, some type of cafe or something, mornings and nights. And when you cut off that money in the evenings, man, that's tough for those businesses. So what they're going to do, I already feel it coming because they've already done it in St. Pete. A lot of people are just not opening. And the reason why they're not opening is because they don't want the trouble. They don't want the kids, the young adults coming to the city and they tear the shit up. The hotels get torn up. You know what I mean? The entire venues, the backsides that's facing the water, they all get tore up. The swings and shit are upside down and toe up. Looked like Stanley Rowe back in Cincinnati. I mean, they just tear shit up, bro. And what's crazy is soon as they shut the shit down and say, nah, we're not doing spring break, or the hotels cut off bookings, they're gonna yell racism. They're gonna yell racism. And I already know it's coming. 3 years ago, I had this conversation right here on this platform. I said, it's just a matter of time because that's when it hit my neighborhood. I don't want that shit around me. You can call me whatever you want to. We pay way too much money to be around that bullshit. I could have spent a whole lot less for a piece of property if I was going to deal with that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pay for that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want it around me. And I'm talking about the activity. Nobody wants that type of activity around them. That all being said, my daughters, one of them, my youngest daughter, she's with a group of friends right now. They were looking for the chillest place in Florida to go for spring break. So her and like 3 or 4 other friends, they all got together and they went to Fort Myers. Okay. and I'm getting updates from my daughter now about how things are. The weather's not all that great. The temperature is good, but it hasn't been real sunny. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. This is that time of year. But that all being said, she's in a little bit more of a dipped off space in Fort Myers. Now, Fort Myers a couple years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, took a big hit in the hurricane and it flipped it over. I call it flipping over. We call it flipping over because they had to redo the entire damn near little portion of Fort Myers. The water, that hurricane really swept it away. It swept it away, literally. So a lot of people have written off Fort Myers because they're in a build-up stage. They're still getting to the point where probably now they're probably good. Because I asked her, I said, how's things going? How's the build out that they're doing there? How is the crowd? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, there's some spring breakers like us, and you know how it is that. And when she said that, I said, yeah, I already know it's still going on. So Fort Myers has a lot of kids spring breakers, and my daughter's there. So I want things to be safe. It's not me now that I'm worried about. It's my children. It's my daughter being on spring break, being around certain environments. See what I'm saying? When people are shooting, who the fuck take a gun to the beach? Sorry, my language. It's just I get frustrated because I can't change the world. I can't change the world. I can't even at this point make my daughters do what I want them to do. I can't set those type of rules anymore. They're going to be adults and they're going to make the decision to go where they want to go, do what they want to do, and be with the friends that they want to be with. However, it's hard to have a conversation with a 20-year-old. Roz says Fort Myers, the cheaper part of Florida. It all depends on what part of Fort Myers you're in, bro, because I don't know if Tanika is here. I know she lives in Orlando. She knows she could probably verify. There are some very, very expensive places or highlighted places in Fort Myers because Fort Myers is right near Naples. You feel me? Like Naples. Black Line, I gotta get at you, bro. Make sure I get at Black Line and AK-47. I owe you one too. Naples is probably like the richest area. It's kind of like the Hollywood of that port of that area of Florida. And Fort Myers is right there. You can literally see where she's at right now. She's on the edge of Fort Myers and Naples. You can literally see across the water, or if you go across the long bridge, you can literally see Naples. Naples have $5 million, $10 million, $20 million homes. And where my daughter is right now, it's pretty expensive to stay there per night, but it's 5 of them, so they all split the cost. The cheaper part of Fort Myers is where it's off the hook, if that's what you were saying. If that's what that strip over there where, Jack's, I believe it's called, and all that stuff in Fort Myers, where the main strip is. There's about 3 or 4 different sections of Fort Myers. All right, to be honest with you, they're all small, but there's a lot of small spaces, small spots. Some have cleaner and nicer areas than others. The nicer the area, the more expensive it is to stay in that area. Fort Myers is where I started. When I moved to Florida, it was Fort Myers. Okay. My wife and I, we bought a piece of property there before we built the spot, in St. Pete. So that's here or there. That's here and there. That was like to get my residency and get started. You know what I'm saying? Over in Fort Myers. Fort Myers. All right. So quick thing. Angela, AK-47 asked me a question. Tanika says, I have a friend who lives in Fort Myers. Let's see, how far are we from Fort Myers is like 3.5 hours from Orlando, right, Tanika? 3.5, about 3 to 3.5 hours, because you're 45. Fort Myers is about 3 hours from Tampa. Tampa is about 45 minutes from Orlando. Tampa Bay and Orlando is like Cincinnati and Dayton. I don't know if it takes 45 minutes to get to Dayton from Cincinnati, but it's that type of drive. If you downtown Cincinnati and you drive to Dayton, it's probably about 35 minutes, something like that. All right. That's the same thing with Tampa Bay and Orlando. Matter of fact, I fly into, or if I can find a better flight, or a faster connect or something of that nature, I'll fly to Tampa Bay to get to Orlando. You see what I'm saying? Or sometimes if I'm going to Tampa Bay and I can't get a direct flight in the time frame, I'll fly into Orlando and then drive over to Tampa. Let's see here. Yeah, she said yes, 3 hours from Orlando, something like that. Three and a half. I thought something like that because Orlando, like I said, Orlando, Tampa, 45, something like that. AK-47. Okay, Black Line. No. I'm gonna get with you right here on here because you tagged me today on the radio, and I hit the tag, and I was wondering 'cause since it was you, I figured it had to be something important. You know what I'm saying? I figured it was something that you wanted me to address, if you want to call it that. I don't know, but I'll get with you in a second. Let me get to AK-47 real fast. She asked a question some time ago. Where is it, AK? I know what it was, but I want to read it. I mean, I know what the question was. I just want to read it to see what you said. She says, speaking of stocks, what should we be, excuse me, and speaking of stocks, what should we be investing in during these times? Well, like I mentioned, when you asked the question, I read it and I wanted to respond to it. What up, Tiff? I've been doing a lot of buying right now because the market is down. For a catfish like me, I call it a catfish because now I'm eating from the bottom. I'm buying when I know that the prices are low. I've bought, a lot of people will tell you to buy the obvious, like petroleum, get into those type of companies. Stay away from like airlines right now and stuff like that. But see, me, I do the opposite. I go in and buy when things are really looking bad. I go in and buy when things get bad. You see what I'm saying? When things get really bad, and it's not looking good for airlines right now. And it's not that they're losing money. It's just that it's costing more money to fly. And when they do that, when they start charging more money to fly, people tend to find alternative travel measures. You see what I'm saying? So they the stock tends to fall. Um, I honestly been buying a lot of things that people are afraid of. I'm just that type of, I don't want to say anything on the air because what I don't want to do is I don't want you to follow my path. I don't always win. And I don't want you to take $1,000 of your hard-earned dollars, put it in something that I mentioned today, and I don't know how long it's going to lose. I don't mean to be um I don't mean to be big-headed or anything like that, but I'm in a position. Um, Free Game says can't hear you. You can't hear me, bro? Click out and come back in. That's nephew. Um, Let me just, I don't want to be, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm in a position where I can I don't have to win out the gate. That's what my strategy is, to buy bad so it'll prove over a long period of time. That's the point. Buying great stocks is when you get them low. It's not always the name that's affiliated with the stock. Like, okay, it's obvious. P&G is a good stock. Kroger, I believe, is a good stock. These are stocks, these are companies that are just not going to lose over the years. They may lose daily. They may come back, punch back in a week or two or a month or whatever. I don't want anybody to take 1,000 of their hard-earned dollars and get into something and it don't punch back in time for you. You feel me? There's a lot of other things you can do with that $1,000 right now that would be beneficial. I don't know. Sometimes I'm gonna tell y'all something that I never thought to do. Sometimes it's better to prepay your gas and electric. Ask me why. Why, Wyatt? Because you ever notice that your gas and electric go up? It fluctuates based on energy. You know what I'm saying? It fluctuates based on the energy cost. Well, if you prepay it, then you're locked in at the price that it was when you prepaid. I don't know if y'all know that. You can call your gas and electric. Who is it in Cincinnati? Duke? Or Duke? Yeah. Call them and ask them. Verify it. Like if I send them an extra $200, here's, I don't know who taught my kids this, but I think it was my wife. We've always paid our gas and electric bill off to zero. Say it comes in, and I'm just using round numbers. Say it come in at $125, okay? We send them $125. Some people send what they can, and I understand that. My mother probably did that. But my wife handles all of that. I don't do that. I don't cut checks at my home. My wife handles the checkbook, or she do all the payouts, okay, at the house. That's something that she took off my plate many years ago. But my wife has this thing about she don't like owing people, which I understand that. So whenever the gas and electric bill comes in, she pays it for whatever it says. We've never had like a balance run over, or anything like that. And what I learned, which came from my wife years ago, is if you have a zero balance, let's just say energy cost is what it, I don't know the decimals of how they charge for the energy, but let's just say it's at a 0.046, okay, per energy usage, per wattage usage or whatever. If you have a zero balance, if I send an extra $200 in, I'm locked in at the 0.46. So my reading goes from the 0.46. It don't go to if it went up to 0.56 or 0.71 or whatever. You're charged based on the energy. It's almost like buying gas. When you go to the gas station, if you're on a quarter of a tank, almost empty, you're at a quarter of a tank, and you ride past the gas station and it's $3.49 a gallon right now, but you ride past it and you go to work and say, I'll get gas on my way home. You see how gas fluctuates almost every day? Your energy cost does the same thing. Now, if you would have bought that gas at $3.49 on your way to work, you would have had that locked in price at $3.49. You get to work, put your 8 hours in, come home, get to that same Shell gas station right by your house, and the shit is $3.69. 20 cents more now. 20 cents more. See what I'm saying? If you would have bought it at $3.49, you would have bought it in at that locked in price. Your gas and electric in your home works the same way. Try to lock it in at its lower click, its lower rate. It's these little small things that add up, bro. I insist. I promise you. We got to start knowing shit like that. There are things we have to know before we start saying we being done wrong. The more we know, the more we achieve. The more we achieve, the less we say some other shit. You got to pay attention to what's going on around you. Be aware of the things that you can benefit from, because there's a lot of people that benefit from it. A lot. So, yeah, I don't know. There's just, it's what you say, Donna. She said, it's like it doesn't count. Tony Hughes says, my wife got me into slightly overpaying, so the credits that we have help out like this time, like this. Exactly. I've always done that. Like if we had some little extra money or something, I would always, I would always send a little extra. I would tell my wife, well, I don't do it. My wife does. Yeah, my wife would send, $25 or whatever extra, just so it'll, give a credit. Same thing on your water bill, because it's based on clicks as well. Oh man, I don't know what y'all talking about. Hold on, let me go back in. Let me see what happened. Black Lion said, Wyatt, for sure. Now, I tagged your name talking to Lincoln. He failed to mention your show name when he put on his show that Kevin Farmer lied on Rosemary. Lincoln mentioned Ivy show, but not yours. I didn't like he didn't give your show credit for his talking points. Okay, that's why Jerica said what she said. She said, in Lincoln's defense, Wyatt does the same. Of course. She says, in Lincoln's defense, Wyatt does the same and doesn't give Lincoln's show credit either. Wyatt says the radio, let's be fair. I don't use they talking points. Let's be fair. You want to be fair? Who say who more than who? They won't mention me over there because they don't want me to get no traction. That's why I don't even go over there, because the word would be I'm trying to use their platform. I don't need that garbage ass platform, okay? I really don't. I got a towel today and I'm rocking a sweatshirt and a hat. All right. If you want to keep it 100, I don't need them 80-year-old listeners. I don't need them old heads. I don't need them. I don't need a bunch of people that think the same and say the same shit over and over again. I don't need that. I'm fine. I started with 4 people. You notice young people don't call in. You notice young people don't. I would be interested to see what that age breakdown, like I showed you on ours. And if anybody's offended, I'm sorry. If anybody offended, I'm sorry. I don't need them. If I needed them, I would be over there infiltrating. I'd be over there creating chaos. I'd be over there telling the truth. But I created my own platform so I can keep my truth over here, and those that appreciate it will come over here and see me. Don't get it twisted. I'm not part of that nucleus of them. They are parrots. I'm not part of that. I don't need them. I've been here 6 years and doing what I do. So when people say let's be fair, let's be fair. If it's not Black Lion or somebody over here that rock with me saying something about me positive over there, nothing positive is ever said about me. No matter how many points that I bring up, no matter how many times I prove what was being said over there wrong, no matter what I do, you will never rock with me to the point to go to my defense. That's why I rock with Black Lion, because Black Lion know me and he know the truth. He know what it is. Why don't you think that's not true? Jerica about to be on one today, and I'm with it. She said, majority of your supporters are from Lincoln Ware. That's not true. How you know that? How do you? So you think everybody that listen to the radio that support me is over there? That's not true. A lot of the people that listen to me can't stand listening to that. They really can't. Where are all the listeners that support him and call every day? They're not here. They're definitely not here. So I know the majority of listeners, I get a fraction of what his call list is, what his listenership is. I get a fraction of that. Not even a third, maybe a third. And you telling me you think, no, there are some people that watch that show that watch this show. All right. Yes, there are. But I've given him more credit on the air, live on the air, than he's ever given me. And it doesn't really matter. I know why. See, I don't get paid to support propaganda and bullshit. I don't get paid for that. Some people do. Some people get paid by the one party. By one party. And what I mean by that, that's how they pay their bills over there. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad when they have to push a certain narrative, because that's how they eat. I don't need their money so I can be honest and fair about what's talked about. And y'all should know that by now. I didn't have this conversation before. But when people say that I'm not fair, I've given Mr. Ware a lot of credit. I've given him credit when he says some things, but I'm definitely going to pull the bullshit when I hear bullshit, when I hear softball interviews, all-star softball games with the mayor. Absolutely. I'm not upset. Jerica, why you think you make me? You really think, girl, ma'am, don't. I'm telling you, I express myself like this. I express myself. Do you think Twin make me mad? Do you think, what's his name? What's his name? What's his face name? You think the King make me mad? What's his name? Casey, whatever. You believe that? Exactly, Tiff. I can count on maybe 2 or 3 hands of the people who fall in, I just showed y'all. Let me see if I still have it. Let me see if I think I got rid of it. Some people think when you respond and when you amped and you making your point because you feel right, they think you mad. You know, some of us from different places and we react different. And just because you express yourself don't mean you upset. Like the only thing that can make me upset is if somebody did something to my family. That's the only thing. There's nothing anybody can say on here to make me upset. There's a difference between being upset and being adamant about making your point. I'm not upset. I promise you I ain't gonna lose no sleep about anything that's being said about a show or a platform, because here's the thing, in my opinion, I'm the realest. I'm the realest of any active show in your region. And that includes keeping it real, all that old bullshit. All that old bullshit. It includes all of that. All right. I'm the realest. And then what makes me the realest is I've been around now. Now, check it out. Just because you've been here long don't mean you've been singing the same song or the right song. Just because you've been here long don't mean you've been singing the right song. It might mean you've been singing oldies and goodies your whole damn life, and that's what keep you relevant. But times change. And I don't think anybody that talk on this microphone actively now has lived the life that I lived. I've been in the gutter. I'm from the gutter. I'm from the gutter. And I'm self-made. Now, if y'all want to call that arrogant and all that old one shit, go ahead. I don't care. I got an anniversary of 6 years coming up on Friday. I'm proud of that. Proud of that. For popping my shit over here, telling the truth. And some of you don't even appreciate it. Some people don't even appreciate it. I'll tell you the truth, and you won't even go over to your favorite guy and tell him, well, you know, Wyatt said. No, because you know that if people know you watch Wyatt, you'll be outcast. That's why, what's his name? Stefan Pryor is getting all that blues now, they saying. He all of a sudden, when he starts challenging people, that now all of a sudden he all the names that y'all call everybody else. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, Jack, but he ain't about that life. Ain't never been about that life. So let's settle that right now. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Black Lion. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, brother. You know why. All he asked was a legitimate question. He asked a question like, hey, why y'all heard all that stuff about Kevin Farmer? And you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, you don't give Wyatt credit for saying anything. You know why? And I'm not mad at them. That's what they do, bro. I'm not mad at them. Let me explain to you why before I get into my topic and get on my thing today. If you acknowledge that, Black Lion, then they got to acknowledge the shit that I say when it come down to the politic game that they bullshitting on too. If you give Wyatt credit about the farmer thing, let me just say, they have 20, 30, 40, 50 years of experience over me. I'm not a radio dude, nor any of that. I'm not a broadcast. I've never been to school. I don't know anything, but they all have a certain concept. They understand that if you don't make anybody relevant, they won't become relevant. And if they don't talk about you, if they don't mention you, then that's keeping you irrelevant. They don't want their listeners to listen to this over here, because if I dispute or debunk something they talk about, I generally have facts to back what I'm saying. They generally have emotional contact with what they're talking about. You understand what I'm saying? All of their talk is emotional attachment. It's just like when my brother, the little dude, the young man, got out there and had the argument with Cecil Thomas and them. They didn't even understand what he was talking about. They didn't know you got something very disrespectful on a sign. Disrespectful. But yet now you and your panties all tight on your ass because now somebody coming back being disrespectful because of what you do. If you don't start the disrespect, there won't be no disrespect coming at you. How that sound? So you gonna punch a kid on the playground, and then when the motherfucking kid punch you back and it's harder than they punched you, You got a problem with the kid that punched back? Come on now, stop. And they don't even have a problem saying it. You were very disrespectful to them people. How about those people were being disrespectful? How about that? How about they had some disrespect going, they started it? How about that? Nah, we're not gonna do it that way. We can't have it that way. And see, here's the other thing that I don't like. I don't like y'all new people coming over here trying to get me to run shit different. I've been doing this shit for a while now. Okay. I've been doing it the way I've been doing it. If you don't like how I'm doing it, I've always invited you to go. I don't understand why have a dispute with me because of how I feel. I don't go nowhere you go and disagree with how you feel. I don't do that. So I don't understand why people do it. I don't want everybody to agree with me, but if you're going to have an oppositional thought, if you're going to feel different about how I'm talking, at least make it make sense. Don't use somebody else's talking points or don't use somebody else's position to make your point. Jerica said, I'll stop because you too often have emotional reactions to those who challenge your opinions as if your opinion is better. Most of us are here because we like talk radio. But you got to understand something, sis. If you're going to disregard, if you're going to look, let's do facts over opinion. When I'm wrong, bring facts to the table. Like yesterday, Jerica, you said that I was talking bad about Kamala Harris. What did I ask you to do? Bring me something showing that I would talk bad about. See, what I said is I didn't say anything bad about her. That's a fact. I know my range. I know what I did. But I asked you to bring a fact. I ain't seen it yet. I ain't seen a clip. I ain't heard a thing saying that what I said. I ain't seen it yet. That's what I'm talking about. So when I hear people say something the opposite of what I say, all I ask for is back it up with facts. Because generally when I'm saying something, I have some facts behind what I'm saying. Like when I talk about the dockets, when I talk about the crime in Cincinnati, I don't have to reference what you've been listening to. I know the facts of what's going on in the city with crime. So I can speak on fact. I don't speak from an opinionated spot unless somebody asks me my opinion about the crime. That's it. When somebody talk about what's going on in City Hall and stuff like that, I'll give you my honest spot and I'll be like, well, I don't really cover, that's not my will. So it's not, I don't know the day-to-day duties of I don't know the day-to-day duties of the city manager. So it's not fair for me to make a comment about who's more responsible about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, Jerica, this is the last one, and I'm gonna move on. She says, let's do facts over feelings. Dude, I don't have time to go through all of those lives. I know. But if you can recall, if you knew to say that I said something bad, then you should know what I said. That's all I'm saying. If I say that you said something about Twin, I can probably back it up. I might not know the time or the date. I might not know none of that, but I know what you said. I don't have to know the time and the date and what day it was of the week and all that old stuff. If I claim you said something about somebody, I'm going to tell you exactly what you said, or somewhere in that where I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be somewhere around it. I'm going to be somewhere around it. Just like when people say something about me, I might not say a name because I don't want it to be an attack, but I'm giving you a factual point of view of this individual based on the work that they've done, based on what I've seen them do, whether they're the city council, a police officer, a police chief, or something of that nature. Vernon, bro, you better get out of here. You better get out of here. This the same dude that lied. Vernon the liar. Y'all know that, right? Vernon said that I blocked him. Vernon actually blocked me. I don't know if he was getting notifications or what, but he blocked me. He blocked me. I don't know what I did to that brother, but he blocked me. Yeah, that's on you. What was that? He said, I don't know if I should jump into this minor skirmish. It's not a skirmish, but I'll take that. Okay. He said, I dipped my toe in the water and it was still too hot for me. I'll chill in the poolside chair for now. Come on, bro. You ain't gotta do all that. I'm just saying. I ain't going there no more. I'm not going there no more. So I get the blame. If somebody come to this platform and say something about Biden or say something about Trump or say something about one of your leaders in the community, uh, I get the blame for that. I get the blame because I have an open platform. If somebody come over here and say something about Biden, then it's Wyatt and them over there talking about Biden. I get the blame for other people's opinions. That's silly, but that's okay. I mean, I started this thing, so if that's what it is, that's what it is. I don't even care. That doesn't bother me at all. But anyway, yeah, I seen what you tagged me in, um, Black Lion, and I seen the conversation that you know, and it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Um, I don't care. Listen, if I wanted to do it, I could go over there in the chat and tear it up. Tear it up. I could call when the mayor's sitting in the seat. I could tear it up. I don't even know if they'll take my call. They probably would. I'm not gonna say that they wouldn't. I don't know. You got one guy who has me blocked. I can't even get on his podcast. Y'all ever wonder why? You ever wonder why that circle? Look, I'm part of the 10%. I'm not part of the 90% clip. Why would you have me blocked? What did I ever do socially on social media? What did I ever do? What did I ever say for somebody? I defended Jerica. Why would I get blocked from somebody for defending a sister for having a problem with somebody? I just called it out for what it was. It's some sucker shit when you sitting on here arguing with a woman. Look, you can debate, you can have a disagreement, you can not see eye to eye. But when you talking about fighting motherfuckers and shit like that, like I'm a changed man. I don't do shit like that anymore. But when I see a dude that I know ain't even about that life talking that shit to a woman, that's worse than that to me is worse. When you talk that fighting shit or you talking that old disrespectful shit to a woman, knowing you ain't really cut like that, that gets under my skin a little bit. That get under my skin a little bit. Now, if you was talking shit to a dude and just hoping that y'all didn't, bump heads one day, I can understand that because you're just hoping that you don't run into the dude at Frickers or wherever the hell y'all hang out. You might not do that. You know what I'm saying? But when you talking to a woman, like, don't let me catch you. We can do whatever. All that old goofy shit. Come on, man. A man ain't gonna respect another man that do something like that. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm definitely going to speak up on that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to speak up on that. Brenda Early says, why wouldn't they take your calls at the buzz? I didn't say that they wouldn't. I brought it up. I said, no, I retracted it. I said, maybe they would. I don't know. But I'm not calling over there because I don't want them to think that I need them to build my own traction. Do you understand what I'm saying? Free game, call me. Let's have this conversation, bro. You thought that you was the only one in the city doing what you're doing? You know what I'm saying, little bro? Put on your helmet, bruh. Put on your helmet with these cats, bruh. I'm not changing up. I'm no different. I've been like this for 6 years. It'll be 6 years on Monday. I've been like this. Ask anybody here. I've been like this. The only problem is you need allies. You need allies. Okay, I tell you what, I'll send you, let me see if I can send you an invite. You're going to have to give me a, hold on, let me see if I don't know if, let me see if I can, hold on, let me see if I can do this, bro. Hold on, I'll be more than happy to add you on if I can. Hold on, I'm not too accustomed to doing this. Add placeholder, copy link. Hold on, love. Hold on, dog. I'm gonna put it in the screen here and see if you can get in here. I'd love to hear what you have to say. See if we can paste it. Let's see if we can send it. Go ahead and pick that up if you want to, bro. Or you can call the show. I don't know if this is going to work. We can give it a shot. I can send you the link. Hold on. Let me see if I can send you the link. Let me see. 1 second, bro. You might have to just call, man. The number's on the screen. 513. Where's the number? Hold on 1 second. Daryl, what'd I do? What happened? Hold on, let me do this. It'll only take a second. I'll do the best I can. Let me put the number on the screen if I can. There it is. There you go. Okay. Feel free to call in, man. Meanwhile, I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. I didn't know that you wanted to tap in or whatever. I happened to. I'm not gonna say the person's name, but they tagged me today. I think I already said their name. They tagged me today, and I heard what your version of what Feel free to call. This Wyatt, who am I speaking with?
Yeah. It's Minister Burns, man, giving you free game. Yes, sir. What's up?
Free game. What's good with you, bro?
Yeah, man. I want to say first and foremost, I appreciate your show, man. You got some good substance on your show, man. From the moment you talk about how you raised your daughters, man, and the investments that you make, you definitely, in my eyes, is a black leader from what I'm hearing about you so far, man.
I do the best I can, brother. I appreciate it. I think that you have an idea of fraud and real. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't agree with everything. I think I reached out to you before, like a few days ago, and I did. I mean, I'm an open book, bro. There's no secrets over here, bro. I reached out to you a few days ago. Real, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I was in Chicago, and I called you. Well, I reached out from Chicago, and we had a little small conversation. And I don't like, some of the things are rough around the edges, but to me, I believe I can tell dudes that's from certain places. All right, you feel me? I can tell. Y'all react to what comes at you. You feel me? You give the same type of energy that come at you. So if disrespect is in front, disrespect is answered. It's answered with disrespect. So I got a feeling that you might have found certain things a little disrespectful, and that's what amped you up a little bit. But correct me if I'm wrong, bro. How you doing today? What's on your mind? Go ahead.
So I'm good. I'm actually out with my family right now, and I made time to join this phone call. I'm at a new place they just opened up in Cincinnati for the kids, and I got my daughter out. We having a little fun, so I paused in between.
Okay.
I was listening to you on my Meta glasses while I was out playing with them as well. So I was checking your substance out.
Okay.
But I'm doing good today. I'm doing good. The video that went viral, to touch on that, was with Cecil Thomas. You very correct. I matched their energy. They had some crazy signs up. And keep in mind, I didn't see Cecil Thomas at first. I didn't even see him. I didn't this wasn't like a attack on him or anything. I actually was riding down the street in a neighborhood that's close to where I stay, in my side of town. And I'm seeing these different signs of Trump's a racist, fascism, and don't let the lies and I'm seeing all these signs back to back, and then I see an older white lady with a Nazi sign and a symbol of a swastika that she's holding up. And you could kind of see she's saying something about Trump, but I actually looked at it like she was a Nazi. It was so offensive because the words and the remarks that she had around the symbol, they were very light colored in. All you could really see was the swastika. So that's what made me hop out. And that's what made me say something. And when I hopped out and said something, in reality, I was really just trying to, because a lot of Democrats, they the talkers. They the emotional talkers. They the people who feel they can say whatever, disrespect everybody, say all this, but treat me with the utmost respect. Be kind to me, be nice. And then when you match their energy, they play victim, like Cecil Thomas. You know, Cecil Thomas actually put his hands on me a few times during that live video. If you watched it, I said, bro, why you keep touching me? He was smart. He knew I had on the meta glasses. He kept hitting me like below the waist, like on my hip, tapping me kind of strongly, slapping my hand down, trying to, in my mind, provoke me to be physical or be this black man, you know, that's emotional, that, you know, he tried to do exactly what a white person would do.
Okay. I caught the video. I seen the video. And I know the position. I know what you're talking about. And it was basically one of them situations, if you would have put hands on him, you know you was going to jail.
For sure.
You know you was going to jail. And that's exactly what some of them people that you just mentioned do. It's been like that since we've been in grade school, bro. I don't know if you went to school with white folks, but I did. And I stayed in the office. And the reason being is because they would jab at me, stick and move, jab at me, jab at me, jab at me. As soon as I put hands on one of them, I got in trouble. You feel me? It was always like that. So what offended you about the signs, bro? You said that you didn't like the fact that there were Nazi signs and things of that nature on there?
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that it was an older white woman with a Nazi sign. She's actually old enough to be to kind of still be a part of that. I don't believe Trump is a Nazi. I've been knowing Trump my whole life through different black celebrities that we glorify, that we look up to, from Reverend Al Sharpton to Jesse Jackson. He's been around all them brothers multiple times, and NAACP leaders and all of that. It wasn't until Trump, don't get me wrong, I'm not no Republican nor am I Democrat, right? But
yes, you are.
He ran for president.
Yes, you are. Free game. You are now. Once you take the position, if you ain't on one side, you the op.
Hey, they definitely pushing that on me. Like, I keep trying to clarify, like, listen, I'm not none of that. But however, I am smart enough and intelligent enough to know my history and know my research that all legislation that's dealing with like black people, like most of it, like with the civil rights, the Republicans support it. The Democrats is the party of the Ku Klux Klan. The Democrats has always been a party of the Ku Klux Klan. The Democrats have always been a racist party. It wasn't until we switched over because they sold us that welfare and that low living and they catered to our weak ones that made us feel like they care for us. But in reality, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They will send you to jail just like a white person send you to jail. That man was trying to send me to jail.
Yeah. So why you think he was going so hard, bro?
Because I think those other people were powerful political figures as well. I'm still waiting for those to be named, or different people of some sort. And he must have had the agenda that he was going to protect. He have a law enforcement background that I later learned. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we right here.
Yeah. He must have thought I was basically, he was trying to be a protector.
So he was protecting the gun line.
Yeah, he was protecting the gun line. He followed me all the way up the street and back down the street. He followed me all the way up the street.
I know. They gonna be mad at me on this one, bro. I promise you.
Hey, but listen, brother. Hey, I promise you, that man literally hit me at least 4 different times.
I already know. And hey, bro, where else can you go in the city? Go to Winton Terrace, pull up on somebody like that and get all up in them and stop them from doing and saying what they saying. I mean, your freedom of speech is just as much as theirs with the sign. I mean, you have every right to question somebody that got a sign that says whatever it says. They have free space and free will to say what they say, and you have free will and free space. You didn't hurt nobody. I mean, I said it the other day, or was it yesterday? I mean, look, if you have enough gumption to be disrespectful on a sign, okay, then you should have enough. You should be thick-skinned enough to be able to accept somebody to criticize your sign, or at least be able to answer why you put that on a sign. But they used them old white people out there who didn't really want no smoke. And I don't think you wanted no smoke. I think the smoke, the smoke came from the person that kept pulling up on you. And I'm trying to figure out why, you know, maybe he organized it and he felt like he had to keep his people safe. But why was you so much of a threat? I don't understand why were you a threat? What made you such a threat, bro?
I think because the abortion topics, right? See, you got to think the Democrats support child mutilization. They support kids to be openly sexually in whichever perverted way that they choose as kids. If you allow a kid to make adult decisions like with their diet or their sexuality, they will make the wrong choice naturally. That's like if you allow a kid to say, what you want to eat all day? And then say, Takis. And you're like, okay, he want to eat Takis. I'm letting him eat Takis all day. Now the kid got stomach ache and you know, everything else. You can't let a child make an adult decision, right? But the Democrats or the supporters of the child mutilization of you know, I have people that's in my family, you know, that's LGBTQ. I don't have a problem with LGBTQ. I just feel that those are victims. Most of the time they are molested, most of the time they are taken advantage of, and we empower them as if they doing something right by becoming what somebody took advantage of them when they was innocent. And I don't agree with that, you know. So I was asking them, are you with LGBTQ? Are you with abortions? And their stands were shaky because they know it's BS.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jared Gavon said he wanted all the smoke. Now he's playing victim.
See, so I didn't want no smoke. I was speaking. I was very vocal. My mouth is my weapon. I don't need no weapons. I didn't threaten no violence. I didn't want no violence. I came with the same disdain that they had on their signs, the same disrespect, the same words, racism, Trump's a racist, he hate black, all these different things that they was coming with, and I matched their energy. And how did I want smoke because of that?
Well, I would think that if somebody generally comes out and they're trying to boycott a person or boycott a company or whatever, they would have something. If you read a sign in that boycott, they should be able to explain why they feel the way they feel or why they're representing those feelings on a sign. I think that's a legitimate question. When you call somebody a fascist, you should be able to explain something that exactly explains fascism. What is that person doing? What if you say that a person is racist? Give me something. Okay, if you got a sign saying that I'm racist or somebody's racist, tell me how that person is racist. Now, how is that a threat? I'm just asking, like, is it because of what you said, how you said it? I mean, I'm just trying to figure
it was
out
how I said it, which I said it on purpose. I'm a very intelligent black man. I'm not an emotional black man. I use my logic. So therefore, I said it in the way to kind of make the ignorance in them come out. And it showed more in them than in me, because who am I? I'm not a politician. I'm a guy that served 14 years in prison, that came home with a whole new idea to stop black on black violence, that really speak to the streets and talk down about black on black violence, really deal with kids that's out carrying guns, really done help guys find jobs. I'm doing that in real time. You know, so when I'm talking to them, I don't have the weight on my shoulders to be the prototype of how to talk. No, I'm coming from my background. They acted ignorant. That's just like he said he wasn't for abortion. Senator Tom said he wasn't for abortion, then he said he was for abortion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not. I don't have to be perfect. I'm a guy that did 14 years flat and turned this life around.
So now let me ask you this, man, because one of the questions. Here go the thing, bro. Here's one of the reasons why I don't even participate in them spaces. All right, hear me out. Because once you hang up, now you just sit and duck. All right, now you become the conversation piece, and you just sit and duck. And now your defenses, you can't call back or you can't defend yourself. So when you say that you work for like a Fortune 500 company, like I don't want to be okay. Hear me out when I say this, everybody, because I don't want it to sound like I'm being disrespectful, but. To hear somebody say that this brother don't work for a 500 company because he has tattoos or whatever like that, that's very disrespectful. Number one, hold on, bro. I got you. Hold on. Trust me, I got you. Procter & Gamble is a Fortune 500 company. So if you work in the mailroom, you work for a 500 company. If you're the VP of Procter & Gamble, you work for a Fortune 500 company. But when I hear people putting people down, you know, he don't work for no Fortune 500 company, not with all them tattoos on his head. And see, now your defenses are gone because you can't respond to all that. And this is the bullshit I don't like is you could have said all that shit when that man was on the air. You could have criticized how he looked. You could have criticized all this, but you want to get him when he can't respond and make up and say, well, I've been with a company. I've been with a Fortune 500 company since I've been home. I put this work in. You know what I'm saying? Jerica said, Wyatt, where'd you hear that? Ask anybody if that came up. Yep. It was on the radio. Black Lion, I don't mean to throw you under the bus, bro, but you tagged me. You tagged me today. When I pushed into the tag, not only did I hear this man on the radio talking, I had already got a message through Messenger that he was going to be on the radio. I just didn't know what time. Somebody told me that last night. They sent me a messenger and told me that this young man was going to be on the radio. So I didn't really know what time. I really forgot about it. And then when Black Lion tagged me and I didn't know what it was, I hit it. You happen to be on the radio. And I'm listening to you, and in that conversation, now I don't know if y'all were on the air. I don't know at that time. I really don't know, but I know he don't work for no 500 Fortune 500 company. I don't know. Did you hear that? Did you hear any of that? Did anybody hear it? I'm just making this shit up. Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, I'm just
there.
making that shit up.
So look, let me say this. So I'm gonna send you a picture of my photo of my ID for this company I work for. I'm a forklifter. I do forklifting, right, for this company. I move merch. We move millions of dollars of product.
Bro, yeah, I believe you. It ain't me. Yeah. I believe you.
I know you believe me. I'm just saying, them same people who criticizing me are the same people who, if I name my job that I work for, they'll call in and try to get me fired.
Exactly. Them the same. Exactly.
It's saying.
Exactly. So listen, bro, just do what you do. Just be careful out here because, bro, you're not part of that 90 percentile. Okay, you're not part of that. And that don't mean it's just good or bad. It just means that be careful, and you obviously sharp because you knew right there that if you expose where you work, they'll be knocking on your door. Not with you. Exactly. They'll be hollering at the supervisor. They'll be calling all the managers and the management because that's what they do, bro. They'll make it hard for you. So just be careful, keep your guard up. And I know that you box a little bit. Be careful when you throw that jab out. Don't drop that left hand, okay? Because don't drop that right hand.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Keep that right hand up. Keep the phone on. All right, bro. Talk to you. That's Free Game out of Cincinnati. Yeah, he hit the bag a little bit. I seen him. I seen him a little bit. I seen him hit, you know, he was sparring a little bit. Y'all know that's my will well. So when I see a guy slipping a little bit and not, you know, when you throw that jab, you got to keep your right hand up because when you throw one, it's one coming back at you. You want to be prepared. You want to be prepared, bro. Let's go to the gym, Free Game. Let's get in the gym. Let's work one day. Let's go to work one day. Me and you, we'll just go in there and work, hit the bag a little bit, maybe go around. See what happens. I'm always with it, bro. Black Lion said, Wyatt, tell him to come to the chat. He was in the chat. It wasn't showing up. He was in the chat. I don't know. I thought I seen his comments. That's why I knew he was here. All right, so let's move on, man. Let's move on. Bro said he did 14 years. He looked fairly young. He's obviously gotten some things together in his life. He said he's out with his family, with his kids, and I don't know if he said wife or whatever. I'm not quite sure. Stop, Carolyn. Why you don't think Cecil, aka Fire Marshal Bill, ain't got all this dude's information by now? He probably do. Forklift. That's a reputable job. That's a very tough job to do. It look easy, but moving all that stuff around in them forklifts, it's dangerous. I mean, it's not something that I would want to do. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous job. But yeah, you can work for a Fortune 500 company and you can work in a whole lot of different places. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different opportunities in these companies. You don't have to sit in the left wing of the building up on the 32nd floor overlooking the city and call yourself a vice president, you know. But I thought it was a little disrespectful to say, oh, nah, he don't work. Have you seen him? You seen him? You know, that's that same old shit that if white folks do that to us, we'll be screaming and hollering. Look at them prejudging us, thinking that this, yeah. You know what I mean? Tip said, I love driving. I love driving a forklift. Brenda Burt said, it's easy. I used to do it. I said, it's dangerous. Shit, it's easy to fish. Dangerous as hell out there. If you're doing ocean fishing. Yeah, I don't like getting on boats out there. You know, you 20 miles, 30 miles offshore, and them waves hit different out there. I went deep fishing out there. Yeah, it's easy. It's just like fishing in a lake, except you 20 miles out, 30 miles out, and them waves got you doing this one thing. The fishing part is easy, but it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And forklifting is dangerous. It could be dangerous. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, bro said he did 14 years. Wow, he looked fairly young. What's that, Black Line? Okay, you say he was in the chat, but he didn't respond to my comments. I want to know about this senior citizen smoke that he felt he need to stand up to the challenge. I don't think he had smoke for the senior citizens. I think what he did, he didn't like white senior citizens coming into the black neighborhood. Now I could be overstepping my bounds, but my perception, the perception that I got out of all of that, because he said it, was, y'all, this ain't even y'all neighborhood. Take that shit to a white neighborhood, to some different type of people, and y'all do all this. Why y'all coming to this neighborhood and doing it? That's what he said. And you know, it was older white people, like they came from some type of senior citizen home. And, you know, I don't know. I don't have a problem. I kind of had a problem with maybe how he said some things to some people, you know, but I think he was matching the energy that was coming off the signs. I think if you're going to call somebody derogatory names, you can't get mad if somebody call you a derogatory name. That's just how I feel about it. That's me. You can't come to my ground. You can't come in my neighborhood. Go to Winton Terrace and say some shit about somebody that they love or somebody that you have a disagreement with. Remember the dude from Chicago? He was up there making all them disrespectful claims that, you know, fuck Cincinnati, F Winton Terrace, I'm God, nobody could do. Y'all remember how that turned out? Yeah, so, you know, I just think that he was matching the energy. And my thing is, I don't have any, I've had some comments about how certain congressmen and Senate people and all this, you know, people who play like they represent the, you know what I'm saying, represent the black folks and all that. I didn't have my comments and how I feel, but I'll be honest with you, bro. I didn't get the impression that this man was going to put hands on anybody out there. I didn't get the impression. I wasn't afraid for him to the point of, oh, he about to hit one of them. Nah, I wasn't, bro wasn't giving me that type of energy. Even though he was cussing, he was saying what he was saying. What the fuck you mean? What is that then? Tell me. So you believe in abortions and whatever. Yeah, I mean, y'all a block deep with signs. He had a disagreement. See, what happens is a lot of people that protest and a lot of people that say a whole lot don't like when people disagree. And what I've been seeing a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of videos of people that go to some of these rallies and they'll have their video camera and their interviewer and they'll say, well, what does that mean on your sign? What does that mean? And when they try to explain it and then they have a follow-up question behind it, they kind of get tongue-tied, a little confused. It's easy to hold up a sign that you don't know the meaning of, but then it gets very difficult for you when somebody asks you, well, what does that mean? And how does it fit in? What's, you know what I'm saying? It's hard, you know. Sorry, I missed that call. Feel free to call back in. It only rang one time, caller. It only rang one time. There was a video. Now I'm kind of changing the subject a little bit. All right. You know, it's going on in Minnesota. Ross says he was protesting their protest, perfectly legal. It's going on in a lot of cities that have protests right now, especially in New York. Regardless of which side you're on, both sides has the right to do what they're doing. Some are protesting, the Iranian war, and some are with it. Some, and they're going back and forth. You got some throwing makeshift bombs and shit at one another. And then you got some people that are out in Minnesota that's protesting ICE. And then you have some defenders of ICE. They both have the right to be able to say what they say. No. So that's how I'm not mad. Look, I wasn't mad at those folks for holding them signs in College Hill. I think it was College Hill. I wasn't mad at that. But I'll probably get upset if they can't answer what's on the sign. I'll probably get a little upset at that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that it'll curve me to the point where I'm like, dude, like my man Free Game. But I probably would have just been like, oh, shit, man. Shit. If I asked a question and she's stuttering and all that old shit, I'd have been like, oh, man. I don't get nothing about that. All right, let me get this caller and call him back. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
What's good, Wyatt? This is Black Lion.
Black Lion, what's good, bro? Appreciate you tagging me today.
Oh, yeah. No, it was kind of foul that he would mention Nate Ivy's podcast.
It ain't foul,
for
bro.
Having Damon Lynch the 18th on there, but wouldn't mention your name and podcast for having a conversation about Kevin Farmer snitching on himself.
All right. Well, now that I got you here, bro, I gotta ask you, why is it foul? Why do you think he would do that? Why wouldn't you think credit would be here over here? Why? You tell me.
Well, the hate was obvious because he went into the conversation about Kevin Farmer. I believe he was speaking to Kevin Farmer over the text message.
Okay.
Kevin eventually called in, but it was kind of foul that he never gave credit where credit is due, that this is the source from where we heard this from where I got it from. And I know he know where he got it from because I'm the one who called him and told him. When Kevin was on your show doing it, I called him and told him, hey, you need to turn on Wyatt Live and peep this, and this is what's going on. And he says, okay, Black Lion, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to look at it. I'll watch it. So I'm almost sure he went and looked at it.
Probably so. But look.
He's an idiot, but he ain't a complete idiot.
Okay. That's okay. But what I'm saying is,
and that was a shot for Jericho. I was just talking shit.
I thought they were buddies.
Yeah, Jericho, she like Lincoln, man. She like that guy, bro.
Look, I'll be honest. If we're gonna be honest today, I don't think that he's a bad guy. Okay. I just think that he's doing what he has to do to make a living. Okay, and I'll leave it at that.
Wyatt, I've been saying for at least 15 years, I'm just doing my job, ain't good fucking enough.
I hear you.
That excuse is so 1940s, 1950s.
I hear you.
It's 2026. We passed that. I'm just doing my job and serving my masters.
Let me ask you a question, because Jericho just said Wyatt does not give Lincoln Ware credit either. Let me ask you something. Haven't you heard me compliment him on certain things over here before?
You just did. You just gave me credit. My homegirl, Jericho. I don't have no shame for Jericho. I'm going to walk away.
Right. I've given the platform over there some hell, but I also have stepped up and said, look, I got to be honest. At least they did this. At least they said that and blah, blah, blah. I'm happy. I'm proud of them today. I've said that on numerous shows. Now, it ain't no regular thing. I'm going to be honest with you, because I do think that they are part of the reason why the community, they're the megaphone for the black folks in our community, bro. They amplify certain behavior and certain things. And I think when certain leaders get on the program, it's not questioned properly. I just don't think that we get the truth.
Well, check dig, Wyatt. Check dig. I do understand because I'm Lincoln's greatest nemesis. And I give him credit, but you will never see that credit for all of the flack I give him.
I understand.
So it could be that situation where you point out his apparent flaws that's obvious more so than the credit you give him for the good that he does.
Let me ask you one other question, because I noticed that you pretty much participate in quite a few shows, whether it's my show here, our show here, the radio, and then E-Man, my brother. You used to be on E-Man show too, right? I mean, you listen to him sometimes too,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Oh yeah, all the time, man. I'm a big fan of Emmanuel Livingston.
So am I. So am I. Now, let me ask you this. You see how they talk about me, more so Jerica, and then, of course, the co-signers that'll come in and say, yeah, blah, 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 whatever. Do they say that about E-Man?
Don't be throwing my girl Jerica under the bus, man.
No, I ain't throwing her under the bus. I'm saying she'll say something about how whatever, I'm attacking Lincoln or whatever, like what I just read. And then the co-signers will come in and blah, blah, blah. All I'm asking you is this. Do they say the same thing about Emmanuel Livingston when he was talking? Because, when he left the radio station, not right away when he started his show, toward the end, bro was going hard on Lincoln. I mean, he was telling the truth. He got 20-year, a diary, 20 years of hitting misses and stuff like that. I think that they were cool at one point, but at a certain point, they had a little falling out. And I think that he started telling some truths about behind the scenes and stuff like that. I don't want to bring up one particular incident, but there were several. And I wondered, did they go in the chat and say that he was being a hater of the old man? Or, how they say, was he being a hater, or was they loving the mess when he was telling it? See, when I say what I say, then I'm being disrespectful. But he was
I'm the bad man. I get it. I'm the bad man, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, bro? But he was telling, look, you can best believe that more of what I say is opinionated about what's going on over there, or him, Mr. Whatever, versus E. I think E gonna speak facts, because I gotta believe what he say because he was there. See what I'm saying? I would believe him probably over me if I was someone else. But my point is, when E was talking his shit about what was going on in that guy and brought up certain situations, not to mention that, he approached his wife about some shit and all that, which I had E's back. Did they ever say the same things that they say about me when I say something negative or disagree with him? Do they say that about E when he was telling the truth about dude?
Well, I can't quite say why. I don't think they give Emmanuel the same smoke.
Exactly.
I can admit that. But let me tell you why I called.
Okay,
because I'm calling about his brother jumping out his car and accosted these senior citizens. And I strongly wanted to know, what was the smoke? What was this smoke these senior citizens in their 80s and 90s? I don't even think any of them was in their 70s. They were so old looking. What kind of smoke did these nursing home residents bring to you?
I think what it was, bro.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Because the man drive past, he see these senior citizens, and he feel the necessity to hop out his car and walk up to them and start screaming at them and calling them all kind of bitches and niggas and, you look at this bitch and look, hey, say, bitch, what your sign say?
Yeah.
It was some unpolished, I've been in prison too damn long, and I don't quite understand to have sensible verbiage yet.
Well, that's probably a little bit of it. Okay. And
the shit was kind of foul. No, don't get me wrong. Why? I can't stand these pink ass pinks.
But see, I'm
not a fan of theirs.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Of all the people, I know your position. I know how you feel about certain people. But of all the people, I'm not suggesting that what he said. I told you I didn't agree with everything in the approach. Okay. I said that while he was on the air. I didn't wait for him to get off and give my opinion. I said it while he was on the air. But now let me say this to you. I think he was disrespected because when you bring those folks to the community that they don't live in. When you bring those people in a community, that's why he was like, why y'all come here?
Wyatt, I didn't catch something you said. You was going in and out. I don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
I'm gonna
the
start
audio
over.
was going in and out.
Okay, I'm gonna start over. I think he feels just like how some people feel when them people that don't look like us come in our communities, because he asked, he said, why y'all here in black community? Why don't y'all go up to it? And he named a specific white community. Go up there and do that up there. Y'all just trying to get on our voters and y'all trying to pass this narrative. It's almost offensive, bro. I feel the same way when people who live in certain areas and vote a certain way come to the black neighborhoods and say, stop the violence. But yet they support the same politicians and the same judicial system that allow certain things to happen. And it's only happening in the communities that they vote that kind of way in. They safe out in their community and they vote a certain way that keep it dangerous in ours. So I'm offended when people that don't look like me are as affected by the way they vote. Everybody that vote a certain way is not affected the same. You understand what I'm saying? There's people that vote a certain way in certain neighborhoods in Cincinnati, and that voting base is not affected the same way people are affected in Over the Rhine. They're not affected. So why you bring your voting base, vote a certain way in my community, come here, hold signs up, whether it's Trump signs or vote for certain judges or whatever, but yet you're not affected the same way we affected down here. And I think, and I'm not trying to argue it for him to the point where maybe he feels different, but that's what I heard him say. He didn't say it quite like that, but what he was saying was,
he added a bunch of bitches and motherfuckers and niggas to it.
Yeah, but you got to understand.
See, my problem isn't the disagreement.
Hold on.
My problem, hold on, let me get it out real quick. My problem is, there's nothing wrong with disagreement. Not at all.
I agree.
There's nothing wrong with voicing his opinion. But the fact that he get out and verbally assault them for standing there holding a sign. And it wasn't that the old people, the senior citizens, was calling people the N-word and, saying slurs as they drove past. No, they were just standing there. Well, now, and I'm cool with him getting out of his car and engaging them in, a productive conversation. But to get out and just verbally assault them and you calling them all kind of N-words and bitches, and it was just foul.
But hold
on. It made us look bad.
Okay, well,
them having their right to protest.
But hold on, let me ask
you something. Such as we have our right to do so.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. So he called them derogatory names, right?
Well, damn, why didn't you see it?
No. I'm asking the question because it's actually rhetorical. You know that. He called them derogatory names, right?
Yeah.
Was the names that they were calling somebody on those signs derogatory? Was he the
racist, fascist?
Those are derogatory terms. Whether they're true or not, they're derogatory. So calling somebody a racist is not a derogatory comment. That's not calling somebody a fascist. That's
Wyatt,
not derogatory.
Wyatt.
Yes or no?
Wyatt.
Calling somebody a Nazi is not derogatory.
Wyatt.
What? Is it or is it not?
Do we not live in a racist criminal settler colony?
We do.
So for me to say and call the administration that maintains a racist criminal settler colony, calling them a criminal settler colony, you see that as derogatory?
I think when you call somebody out of their name, and it's something like if you call somebody a bitch and they acting like a bitch, it's still a derogatory statement, even though they are being a bitch. If you call them a bitch, you're calling them a derogatory person. If you call somebody,
I understand a slur,
but hold on.
But I'm asking you the reality that Black people have been living in a fascist, racist, criminal settler colony for hundreds of years since the fascist, dictatorship, terrorist, racists showed up.
Oh, absolutely.
Even till today.
But hold on. But I think we're gonna have to find some common ground, because I know the truth to all of that. But what I'm telling you is, when you call somebody something and it's not, if you're using a derogatory statement, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you're using a derogatory statement, you're calling someone something derogatory, you got to be ready if somebody gonna call you something derogatory back. You can't get mad.
My brother, they did not call that brother a racist or derogatory
They
name.
brought that energy.
They did not call him a racist. They didn't call him a fascist, and they didn't call that brother, that black man, a Nazi.
That energy, bro. Let me just say this to you.
Well, I'm saying, if that's going to be some pink on pink crime, and that's something between pink people, let them have that.
Here go where he got offended, though, bro. He got offended.
Oh, I know where he got offended. It's the coonery.
No, he got offended because they came to the neighborhood. It's like this, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. I think we're gonna find common ground on this. And if I'm wrong, I'll have him, maybe he'll call in and correct me, because I could be wrong, all right, on this point. I think if it would have been a bunch of College Hill residents, black folks, he might not have had that same energy. Not that you
damn right he wasn't gonna talk to black people like that.
Well, because it's a little bit different. It's almost like when somebody, it's almost like how we can call each other the N-word. It's a little bit more acceptable. You see what I'm saying? But there's some black people that don't like that. You see what I'm saying? They don't like to be called that. But then there are also some black folks that is like, can't nobody else call us that but us. See, that don't make it right. Just because we calling each other the N-word don't make it any better than if a white person did it, to be honest with you, because maybe we can fool ourselves and try to make it an endowment, some type of brotherhood or something like that, bro, but that don't make it right. All I'm saying to you is this. I think he was offended that they came to College Hill. That's the point that he made. That's what he was trying to say.
Still not good enough. Still not good enough.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not to
Still
everybody.
Not good enough. Wyatt, let me interject something.
Go ahead, bro.
I've done many videos, and I've quit for a while. I'm gonna get back into it, but neither here nor there. I've been to many functions, black people, Caucasians. I've been to their little political events. I've been to where they just sat out and spent the night all night at for the voting in the morning, the presidential voting in the morning. Wyatt, if I have a video and I walk up to these people and I get to calling them bitches and niggas and all of this shit, all of these derogatory slurs, do you think these people would have said, oh, well, he's just expressing himself?
No. They would have thought you was crazy.
They would have said, he's over here calling us derogatory names, slurs, and you screaming at us at the top of his lungs. I know that brother's mouth was dry when he walked away.
Well, maybe so. But
you know what he did asking him, why are you screaming?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so let me ask you something. If you would have been out there, what would have been your position? Would you have done what Cecil Thomas did? Would you have took that same position?
I would have only took the position to protect Cecil Thomas. Now, forgive me when I say it. Only because the skin he's in.
Bruh. But look now, okay. So you
were, and I even asked the guy.
Hold on.
I even told the guy. Hold on, let me say this.
Bumped your head this morning. You bumped your head this morning. So you would protect the dude that's the gun line dude. You will protect the gun line guy because he's black.
My brother.
Come on, bro.
Do you know, I got to say this, Wyatt. Let me say it. Do you know how many elder sisters
I know better
who believe in voting for these Caucasians, who believe in keeping this criminal settler colony going? Elder sisters. But if somebody would have jumped out and accosted them, I would have defended them. Now, I do have a disagreement in their political, spiritual position, but I'm not going to let you attack this elder old-ass man or this old-ass woman and just accost them, black men and women. I'm not going to do that.
Right. Now, I hear you on that. I ain't got no problem with that. But my thing...
And that's the only reason I would have stood there. And I don't like Cecil Uncle Tom ass. But I would not let this old 70-year-old man just take his ass whooping for somebody fresh out of prison.
But see, that's the whole thing. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was turned like that. I don't think it was amped that way. I think dude kept I think dude kept pulling, rolling up on him. Like, I don't think dude was any threat to do anything past what he was doing, bro. He was pretty aggressive about what was on the signs. Okay. Now, my thing is, I think he got amped because dude kept pulling up on him and getting up under him as if he was going to do something past, say something, or, say something bad about the signs, or get your ass out of here, or whatever. People do that at protests all the time. That's just, you got to have oppositional protesters. They do that all the time. I think the biggest problem, brother, that this man had with them, what I heard his argument was, of anything, is that they were in a black neighborhood doing it. I think that's.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree
Well,
because he repeatedly said what his disagreement was. Trump is his master. He's a flunky, and that's his boy, and they're not going to be here demeaning his president.
Well, that ain't all.
He said it repeatedly.
Yeah, he said that. But at the same time, Black Lion, I know you heard what he said
He
about.
said that more than he said, why are you in this community? I'm not acknowledging that he said, pointed out that they were in this community.
All right,
but that was not the crux of his position.
I got you. I think you're right to that point of he had
the
more.
The man is a house Negro flunky.
Well, who? Which one?
Let Trump come to Cincinnati and pull up on the protest and fight his own damn battles. Well, we've died enough. We've fought enough for Caucasians. We don't need to do it anymore.
I hear you on that. But those same people that protect those folks, bro, are making it tough on our community as well. I think we'll have common ground on that. Now, like I told y'all, I didn't agree with with everything. I just didn't mention what the things were. I don't agree with the approach, but I do agree when somebody has derogatory statements about somebody, they should be ready. If Black Lion, if I see you down on Lynn tomorrow or something, and I'm like, hey man, and I blow smoke, you know what I'm saying? And I be disrespectful. Or if I say something, if I call you a name, I can't get mad if you call me a name back. Or if you call one of my partners a name, or somebody that I believe in. The brother.
Oh, so you believe? So basically, Trump your partner.
But that's what ain't that what he said? That's his president. That's what he said.
Trump
right?
Is not his partner, man. He's delusional.
Don't use my analogy in that way. What I'm saying, if I met you, if we were together and you said something about my partner or say something about something that I believe in, and I'm like, damn, bro, why it gotta be like that? I mean, and if I blow back at you and match your energy, see what I'm saying? That's kind of like how he took it. If Trump is his president, and
I understand what you're saying,
yeah,
Wyatt,
that's all I'm saying.
But his energy did not match the energy of senior citizens.
Maybe not. But all I'm saying,
he did not. Now, maybe if he was on cell block A, yeah, and that was happening, yeah, he probably matching prison cell smoke energy, but not these senior citizens.
Yeah, well, see, sometimes that's why people go out.
The man was out of pocket. Why?
Look, bro, I'm not saying that the approach was on point, but all I'm saying to you is if somebody start with some derogatory statements and calling people names, be ready to be insulted the same way. That's all I'm saying. If you come to me and you got a certain energy about what we talking about, if you like when you answered, like when we got on this phone call, anybody, if they come in being disrespectful, I might lay it down for a second, but if it keep going disrespectful, I'm gonna match the energy at a certain point. You would too. So
the energy of nursing home patients.
Oh, bro, come on. You got to get off that. You know they being used.
But that's what they were, Wyatt.
Hold on,
These
bro.
people like a year or two away from death.
Well, like he said, take y'all old asses and that energy up to Mason somewhere. If you're not ready to be on them streets, don't be out in them streets then. Don't go taking that. I don't care. People, I don't care.
Those senior citizens had the right to be on the streets and protest.
All I'm saying is if you got all these derogatory statements on your signs or whatever it may be, if you bring in energy, be ready for an oppositional energy to match it. That don't mean we got to have a stick and a bottle fight. It just means our oppositional threat if they just said one thing and I was matching that energy, that's one thing. But if you using derogatory statements about somebody, if I return to serve, you can't get mad. And just because they old, you should go talk to the people that put their old asses out there. Don't take old people up
Why
to the...
I understand your perspective.
Okay, and
I
I
do.
understand
I'm not
yours,
saying I
bro.
don't understand it, but what I'm saying is that the energy that he brought was not the same energy that was being brought to him. A sign that says something about Trump and the freedom of speech, yeah, and he has the freedom of speech to speak to him, but he don't have this freedom of speech to walk up and verbally accost him.
Wait a minute.
Now, what he could have did, now, if he wanted to match the energy, he could have got him a protest sign, wrote something on there equally,
Now,
and stood there.
protesting.
Now, that would have been equal.
Protesting don't necessarily mean that you're just using a sign. People use bullhorns all the time.
Well, that's what they were doing. I'm saying if you're going to match their energy.
Hello, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
You said if you're going to match their energy. Well, look,
yes, I'm saying if you were going to match their energy, because that's what they were doing.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is they had derogatory statements. Now, dude didn't, okay, if he was riding down the street.
He could have did the same thing, Wyatt.
If he
could have put a derogatory statement on his sign.
Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is.
And then stood directly across the street from him.
Oh, well, okay. That if you look at the protests that's going on in the cities right now, go to New York and all that, they're face to face. And most of them are screaming and hollering back and forth at one another. All I'm saying to you is
that's the young folks, Wyatt. We're talking about senior citizens.
We're talking about protesting. Whoever somebody
we're talking about senior citizens protesting.
Okay, all I'm saying to you is I think what the guy's energy, what threw his energy off or put it up there on 10 is the fact I heard the argument of, dude, why you bring them to this neighborhood? You brought them to these, to this particular neighborhood knowing that they talking to the black folks. That was his thing. And I believe, I know them structures. I know that's what it was. I know that some of that's true. And then there's a strategy to it as well. If you bring somebody that's vulnerable, then you look like the bad guy when you matching energy. Now, for once, they was not out there cussing and fussing, but their signs were derogatory. Okay, so when you bring that type of energy, go out there go to Winton Terrace with a bunch of signs that's derogatory. What happened to them Nazis on the bridge over there? They had signs and swastikas and shit. They didn't have to say a word. They got ran off that bridge.
Wyatt,
and
I saw the videos. Wyatt, I saw the videos, and those Nazis were screaming out N-word. They were saying derogatory shit.
Well, and that might be
one guy pulled up in the car and they were screaming at him, calling him derogatory names, and he was playing Fight the Power. And he pulled his gun up
playing
like,
on each other.
I got something for you.
Right, they playing on each other. That was.
So my point is, it's totally different, Wyatt.
Well, no, what I'm saying to you is those Nazis had a sign, and I'm not defending them. I'm just telling you what they did. They had a sign hanging off the side of the bridge. They were up there with their signs. Now, if you take that shit to a black neighborhood and those signs are derogatory, they're gonna get smoke. Somebody gonna have a verbal, somebody gonna say something, and then they gonna say something back. And then that's how it starts. They didn't go walking through Winton Terrace marching like they did in Columbus, Ohio. They didn't do that. They went on a bridge and sat there with signs. And it drew what? It drew smoke because it was derogatory. And that's all I'm saying to you about that one. It's the same thing. They didn't say anything until somebody came over there and approached them. And yeah, it's going to get into a verbal altercation. And they was young and dumb. I get that. But what started it? What started it was the presence of them and the signs that were derogatory, swastikas, all that type of stuff. And it drew smoke.
Wyatt, I don't have a problem with Caucasians and their in-house problems.
Neither do
I don't have a problem with Caucasian on Caucasian crime. Now, if Caucasians are calling themselves and their other people derogatory names with signs, not verbally, with signs. And we do know that Trump is a German, right?
I don't know his heritage. I really don't know. I'm sure
he's a German. He's come from Nazis. Yes, that's his heritage.
Okay.
That's it. His name is Trump, but they changed it to fit in and be more American and drop the letter D and just pronounced it, and the letter F on the end and just pronounced it Trump. That's his damn heritage.
Okay.
He comes from that.
Okay.
No difference if I was a black person from the land of Zulu and you had a sign saying Zulu. That's part of my heritage. And clearly, all them other racist Trump's been around where they had Nazi signs. Trump was never offended by them. He never expressed once about the white nationalists who held up those signs, and he never said that that's horrible. I'm offended by that swastika. I guess my point is this: why the symbol was culturally appropriate for Trump's culture.
Well, then maybe the dude just didn't like the signs because they were derogatory towards Trump, like he said, and he had a mixture of that and the fact that they were in the black neighborhood. Maybe the problem is exactly what he said it was.
Yeah, maybe
that's what it was.
But we don't have to go on maybe. We have video evidence and him expressing repeatedly what his problem was.
Right. Exactly. So
yeah.
I don't want to get in a dispute with anybody because of how another man felt. Let's just say this. If I would have rolled down the street, I've been in neighborhoods where I've seen the No King protest. I didn't get out my car. I didn't feel offended. I didn't do anything, and all of it was Trump bad. Trump this, Trump that. I just kept on going. See what I'm saying? It's not my makeup to do what the young man did, okay? I didn't agree with the approach.
Oh, your audio went out. Okay, there you go. I hear you.
Yeah, you hear me? So.
Yeah, your audio went out for a second.
No, what I said is I've gone through protests. You know how they had the No Kings protest, the Trump this, the Trump bad, this and this and that. I didn't get out of my car. I didn't have a problem with it. Maybe it wasn't offensive to me. You see, it wasn't offensive to me. I wouldn't have done what he did. But at the same time, I think my whole argument is you can't get mad at somebody when they match an energy. You just don't agree with the energy that these people offended him with. You don't, because you're not him. You don't agree with what he did because his energy was matching the energy. You just don't agree with that. So
his energy was not matching their energy.
In his mind,
I can see if those people was out there screaming, hollering, calling people slurs and bitches and motherfuckers and niggas. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have to agree to disagree on this.
But that's not what they were doing, Wyatt.
I mean,
not one person called him a motherfucker, a nigga, or a bitch.
It don't take that, bro. I don't know
why.
Oh
my goodness.
It don't take that for him. Now,
clearly not, Wyatt.
I'm just saying it didn't take that for him. He got offended because somebody said something about somebody that he rock with.
That's I understand. He's one of these new niggas. They emotionally sensitive.
Well, maybe,
I dig it.
Maybe so. But
somebody said something about his white man, and he had to pull over and record a whole 19-minute video about defending Uncle Sam.
Well, first of all, maybe so. Maybe so. I don't know, bro.
That's what it was, Wyatt, in a nutshell.
Maybe so. But he had several reasons in his mind why he did what he did. You have to agree.
Yeah, that's my president. He kept saying it.
And he said something about the community as well.
Yeah, but he repeatedly talked about his president.
All right. What else we got, Black Line? Anything
That's
else?
it, bro. That's it. I appreciate the time. I got to get back in the chat and talk to Ross, because Ross over here letting me have it, bro.
All right, man. Don't hurt him too bad. All right, brother. Thanks for engaging.
All right, one.
That's Black Lion. Yeah, we agree to disagree on that. I just think when people say things that are derogatory and disrespectful, I just think that, be ready to get energy matched. And if it's older people, some people don't give a damn if they older. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't care if you use old people and drove them down to the neighborhoods. And I'll say this once again, I'm gonna repeat this. Some people will vote a certain way And hold on, let me take this before I go in. Some people will vote a certain way, be totally out of the perimeter where the problems are, and be in their safe homes out in their safe neighborhoods and allow all that dysfunction and all that stuff in the bad neighborhoods to continue to exist. I think there's people that actually know that happened. And I think there's a defense that comes in when certain people come to neighborhoods and then they go back home. It's like when judges let people out of jail or let them run the community with gun charges, and those judges don't live in them neighborhoods. So they're not going to be victimized. They're not buying from the same community stores that the people that's running around here robbing people. They're not in the line of fire like that, but they let people go in them same communities, and they vote a certain way and they do certain things. And that's what I think a lot of people missing, whether we agree to or whatever. That's my stance on it. I don't like when people, this is why I've always made this comment. I believe that there should be more people on city council from the communities. I think that when you are a city council person, you should be the community president. You know what I'm saying? What do they call those? The community presidents and the vice presidents, the community council. I think that the community council should be more of your city council. So you have clear representation, because once you get on city council, sometimes the community, a lot of the times, certain communities don't matter anymore. You use that argument and that fight to get there, but you tend to neglect those areas once you get there, because you know it's all about business. You can't concentrate on 5 areas. You got 52 to cover. So that's why I'm an advocate for people, and I don't think this ever came up, but I'm an advocate for people that play, that go into politics in the cities. I think you should be from those neighborhoods. I think that I don't give a damn if you have 22, representatives on city council. Maybe you don't pay them as much as they're making now. You see what I'm saying? But I think that each community should be equally represented. And then you'll have a lot of that other stuff go away. Let me go to the phone lines before I get out of here. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Brother Wyatt, can you hear me?
I can. What's good, sis?
Have you been, I know y'all talking about that, but have you been watching the Afro Man trial?
Nah, for some odd reason, I can't get into that one. It's just, I seen Afro Man, and I don't know if I can get into that one. What's up with
Afro Man is clowning Adams County and the judicial system, and he's doing it the way a Black man should. He's standing up for his land, because the Adams County Sheriff's Department wrote a fake warrant that included kidnapping and some sort of financial crime. But the kidnapping was because Afro Man had a relationship with one of the police officers' wives. So he all on the stand, just dragging the Adams County sheriffs for being pedophiles, convicted molesters, because they are. He references the newscast from the police officer being arrested for the crime. He references his wife in an online video that is viral. He said, "Don't come for Afro Man." Now, I watched that whole video that y'all talking about, and I was disgusted by both of them brothers. I was disgusted, one, for the young man. I don't care how you feel about abortion. This is America, and we all have the right to freedom of speech. We all have the right to peaceful protest, and we all have the right to be left alone. You don't have the right to come up on me because you don't like my sign, because you don't like my T-shirt. He said to Cecil, like it was a test. I don't know what he was in jail for 14 years for, but abortion is legal. It's something that women fought for. And I've talked about this before. Don't nobody, if you ain't got no coochie, stay out of it. If you don't want an abortion, don't have one. For that to be your reason, you can't stop a woman from, even if abortion were illegal, women are still going to figure out ways to get rid of unwanted pregnancies because it's a woman's issue. And in that regard, Cecil Thomas in 2019 became a Democrat and signed on with the Republicans for the heartbeat bill. The heartbeat bill don't even give you a chance to find out if you're pregnant. After 6 weeks, you can't have an abortion. Most women don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. So he's confusing. Both of them brothers was protecting their slave masters. The young man was so adamant on hurting white people's feelings for writing on a sign that they're against fascism and a police state. And Cecil was defending them as if he ever defended the Black community. During COVID, he wanted the whole Vine Street locked up, the whole street. He came on the radio and said, why is people standing outside, as if Cincinnati don't have a homeless problem, as if Cincinnati don't have low quality housing that's falling apart all over the place, straight slums. He ain't never spoke up for nothing like that. And then in regard to the radio, I go in from time to time. I like to joke around with the chat, but I'm not sure how long you've been listening to Lincoln Ware. I used to call Lincoln Ware at the beginning of the Iraq War. Do you remember the Iraq War, brother?
I do.
The Iraq War was illegal. There was no congressional approval. The Iraq War, Bush Jr. and Halliburton and Cheney, they was getting government contracts. They was clearing Iraq out, taking all of the gold, raping the women and the children. When I called in for 15 years straight, I would tell Mr. Ware and his audience how wrong that war was, how illegal it was, and I was not. And because at the time he was a Republican, I was stupid, I was crazy, I was lazy, I was poor, etc. When Obama came in office, Obama did a little different without congressional approval. He had drone wars. He was dropping bombs every 2 hours for 7 years. For 7 years. None of those people who sitting up mad about Trump and what he's doing now, they never complain. Never complain. Matter of fact, they'll cuss you out if you complain. If you tell people today about Gaddafi offered Farrakhan $1 billion in the 90s.
Right.
Bill Clinton stopped it. And then after that, they went on a wholesale attack to destroy the Middle East, Iraq, Iran. They just invaded all that area. But here's the thing, bro. You talk about name calling.
Mm-hmm.
Name me. I've been everything in the book. The same people that's in your audience was in Emmanuel's audience. When I was all kind of bitches, motherfuckers talking about my dead baby daddy. I didn't respond, but I was reading. I was watching, sitting up dragging my sex life from 20 years ago. You don't even know nothing about that man. He was a dog. He shouldn't have even had access to me. But the only reason that he was talking is because I was talking on the radio.
Who?
Nigga ain't had nothing else. This guy named Quincy Robinson. He stood up and gossiped with Nate Livingston. I hate to be bringing his name up because I know people love to mess, but I'm going to address it because it needs to be addressed. For years, this man doxed me, called the Department of Homeland Security, all because I called in on the radio. I'm not a criminal. I ain't never accosted nobody. I've never been at anybody's house. You know, when you talk about Brother Stefan being demonized right now, it's dangerous because we remember what happened to Kabaka Abba. And maybe there's new people, but Kabaka Abba was demonized. They outed him. He was no longer with the cool kids. And when he was murdered, while he was unarmed, doing what he usually do was go down to City Hall after he got off of work, before he went to the gym. Everybody who was close to him knew that's what he did. At 2 o'clock, coming down City Hall steps, when we had a black mayor, a man shot this man 5 times in his chest. He did not have a gun on him. He had a protection order against that man. And that audience went and testified against a dead man and said if he didn't kill him, he would have killed him. And that's not what happened. Brother Stefan is a real brother. He's somebody, my car ain't working, I could call Stefan. He on his way. Brother Stefan, my mama she's stuck at Kroger's. Can you run down there and get her? He is on his way. Now, when it comes to voting, I ain't never seen none of your Democratic candidates do that or your Republican candidates do that. So he has every right to be an independent. He has every right to step away from both of those parties, because just like Lindsay called in on the Lincoln Ware show and pointed out Greg Lansman, I hate Trump, but you get the same donations from AIPAC that Trump get. You help to vote for more war powers for Trump. Even though you sitting up telling people how much you hate him, he got more power because of your vote. And then down here where I'm at with the Tallarico guy, as much as you may hate to hear it, Brexar County did disenfranchise voters from the polls. And it was Latino election officials in Brexar County. They put fake polls in people's doors with their phone numbers on them. The ballot was pre-filled out with their number on it. And it was saying, vote like this. If you have questions, call me. Tallarico on the recount, it was just recounted the other day. He didn't even get no votes. Crockett had 238 votes on the recount. He had 53 votes on the recount, and neither one of them beat the Hispanic guy.
So who did the cheating? Who did the cheating?
The Democratic Party.
So they cheated.
The Democratic Party under James Carville. If people take the time to research,
so are you suggesting from being down in Texas, because that's where you are suggesting that the Democrats cheated their own candidate?
Yes, that's what she, listen, the 40 election started. I was saying this, I don't call your show too often. I love listening to you. I don't call too often. Before the election before we even cast our votes down here, they was already saying Tallarico was the winner. Jasmine Crocker, you can find her own video telling you the DNC is funding Tallarico against me. They are doing attack ads, making my skin darker. They are doing attack ads, lying about my character. No matter how much we might disagree with how Jasmine Crockett carried herself, she still had supporters. She still had people who voted for her. And what the Democratic Party did was confuse the polling stations and confuse the ballot. And so, like I tell you, the lady, Dr. Candace Matthews down here that run with Quanell X, she went to Brexar County election officials in their face with the documentation proven. And the lady said, what I did may have been unethical, but it wasn't illegal, because we are the Democratic Party. And they did not want, they only counted the early votes in order to declare Tallarico the winner. They didn't count all of the votes.
Hey,
and even though it was the Republicans who redistricted the area, it was the Democrats in Brexar County who did not count the votes.
See, that's why I asked you that question, because I was a little confused. I was under the impression that Jasmine Crockett was blaming was blaming the Republicans because of the redistricting. The reason why I asked you that question and said, you answer this because you're in Texas, I wanted to hear some of the things that we might not be privileged of here in Florida or maybe in Cincinnati, in Ohio. I never heard any of those things that you're talking about, like the door flyers and stuff like that with wrong phone numbers and stuff. I didn't hear anything like that. I was under the impression that she lost because of the redistricting setup. But then I also knew that they did the redistricting, but they had a month or two letting people know where their new locations were to vote. This is honest. I was not under the impression that the Democratic Party, now I did hear her say that they're running ads against me and they're darkening my skin. And that's the only thing derogatory I heard about her say about the party. That was it. But I was under the impression that it was the Republicans because it's all okay. That's what I thought the redistricting was.
So the election night, if you go back to the election night, she was crying. She was crying because she had gotten cheated. And what the Democratic Party was saying was, well, you jumped in too late. Tallarico was already running for this. It don't matter. When she jumped in, she had a stronger platform.
True that was.
She had a stronger idea. But Tallarico's name recognition was stronger in Texas.
Wait a
and
minute,
what they
hold
were
on.
saying,
I thought he was a newcomer. I thought he was new and he jumped in the race late. That's what I was under the impression of.
He's been beating the pavement for a minute. And
okay, I'm not challenging you. I'm saying what I was reading and watching during that time is that Jasmine Crockett got into that race late. She got off to a fast start with the name recognition. And then this guy, because wasn't it 3 of them that was running? It was 3 people.
It was 3 of them, a Hispanic, a black lady, and a white male. The Hispanics voted Tallarico more than they did Jasmine. White people voted more for Jasmine than Hispanics did. And it was like I said, she was down here telling them Hispanic people they was the new slaves. These are not, baby, Katie is rich. These are not slaves. These are electricians. These are plumbers.
You got
nurses.
A lot of Hispanic landowners are in Texas. They own a lot of land.
Construction owners.
Yeah, they own a lot of land.
This is not. These are not uneducated poor people. And here's the thing. You know, in Houston, they have a rodeo. The rodeo lasts from beginning of March to end of March. Rodeos like it's so all month we doing country stuff all month. The rodeo is like a carnival at the NRG field. Our kids is down there tripping out, fighting each other, throwing wigs, slamming each other against the ground. And Hispanic people at Univision in the comment sections, if you turn the translation on, you all kind of grande mayates. You all kind of animals. You all kind of they let them out the zoo again. Them people don't like you.
They don't. I already know. You know how many of them here in Florida. You understand? I know. And here go my thing, man. My people sitting back here fighting ICE and fighting the deportation of some of these folks. And they swear up and down that these going to be Democrat voters. That's what Republicans are saying that. I don't know if Democrats really believe it, but, you know, I don't know if that's really what their strategy is. But I've been saying it on this show, Marquetta, for a couple, 2-3 years now. When that border was open, I don't know why y'all think these about to be some people that's about to go to one particular party. These people are coming here for freedom, and they're going to utilize the American dream. They're going to open businesses. They're going to buy land, and they're going to do all the things that we bitch and complain that white folks do. These people are coming to this country to do it. And they're not going to be in one particular party like you think they are. The proof is in the pudding.
And in one generation, they become white. They don't identify with that brown stuff.
Exactly.
These are Spaniards.
Exactly.
This is conquistador descendants.
Well, hold on. If you don't believe what I'm saying, or if you have any doubt, I keep trying to tell people go to local. I guess you got to have a high Latino population in your city to understand where we're coming from. Because in Florida, almost every southern city up to mid-Florida is pretty much heavy Latino. And if you look at how they move, they come in one way and they convert over to another way real fast. It don't take them long. Am I off base, Marquetta? If you notice
sir.
You notice how they come in on benefits. They come in reaping the benefits of the United States, but then they switch over. Y'all gonna be mad. And I said this years ago, y'all gonna be mad when they don't vote the way you think they're gonna vote, because they don't stay in that position very long. You can just look at the progression that they have in all these cities when they open up businesses. They're not going to be voting the way you think they're gonna be voting. And if you look at how Latinos are voting in this country now, they're getting all the people that you want voted in. They're getting the other guy.
That's what
they're giving the other person the notch, the edge, just like they did Jasmine Crockett, just like they did Donald Trump. See what I'm saying? So I don't know.
The Voters' Right Act, brother, that's in the Supreme Court. You know, people get mad because I've been researched and I know an issue. You can holler and scream all day long and drag the Democratic Party, but when I bring up an actual issue, you a MAGA. Well, you a faggot. Because if you look at the Supreme Court right now, the Voters' Right Act, Section 2, it is the Hispanic population in Louisiana.
That's right.
Who are Republicans who brought that case up to contend with the Voters' Right Act, which means you will lose the Congressional Black Caucus.
Well, hold on.
That's what that means.
Let me add another one to that, because we quick to blame or to say something because it's easy. The other thing is DEI in the universities. That wasn't white people who sued and challenged it and won.
That's right.
It was
That's right.
Asians.
It was Asians.
See what I'm saying? So we got to be careful at blaming and pointing the finger at certain people for what's going away. It's not all who you think it is. And certain people come in this country for the benefit. They come in off the benefits, do they not? They'll come in here on a visa or whatever. And
the Somalian consulate just got raided, man. It's so much dope and fraud coming through this country through foreign agents and Black people. No matter how much you want to be Republican or Democrat, you is Black. James Carville said, and James Carville is one of the master Democratic strategists of the DNC. He said, get out of his party. Jasmine Crockett, the Squad, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Summer Lee.
Let me say something, because I think Jerica said something as well, and then David said, DH said something the same way. He said illegal immigrants, non-citizens cannot vote in U.S. elections. I know that. Here's the problem. You got people that are trying to fast track that right now. You have people who are trying to make it possible for people to vote without IDs. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be voting that shouldn't be voting. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about voter ID, but my thing is, if you need ID to do everything else, minimum things in this country, why shouldn't you need an ID to do one of the most important things you're going to do in this country, which is to vote?
So here's the thing about that. I don't think I even mentioned illegal immigrants. I just talked about the population of Hispanics. Everybody that comes here is not an illegal. Right. You got to go back to Cesar Chavez and the migrant farmer workers who was marching for their civil rights back in the 60s to understand the Chicano and Tiano population down here in Texas, who do not see themselves as Mexican or South American. They are very much American. Like I told you last time I called you, the largest Hispanic baker down here in Texas is the biggest Hispanic MAGA contributor financially. The people who come in here, the people whose abuelas are being deported is mad as hell because the people that they go get their pupuas from, who they go get their bread and croissants from, is funding to send their grandmas back to countries with no light and poor economy. Black people, 80% of the men, 92% of the women, y'all did your part. You voted for Kamala Harris. You did what you could do. So there is no reason for you to come back and demonize Stefan. There's no reason for you to come back and demonize Twin. There's no reason for you to sit up and call your brothers and sisters names, because 47% of the Hispanic population voted for Trump. Right. They outnumber us. And you're not doing us any. Right there in Cincinnati today, in Batavia, they just arrested a man who admitted that he was here illegally for 34 counts of child rape. You don't hear nobody talking, and that's all over the news. Right. You don't hear nobody talking about that. He needs a deportation order. He needs an ICE agent to pick him up so that he isn't pushed through the system. 10 or 15 charges get dismissed, and he back out in a year. You need and I promise I'm gonna hang about this. You ever seen a movie with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci?
Which one? They played in a lot.
The Casino movie, not Goodfellas.
Casino?
I don't think it's Goodfellas. Casino. It's about the casino.
Yeah,
it might be Goodfellas.
No, it's called Casino.
What is it called?
Casino. They had one called Goodfellas too. I'm a movie buff when it comes to those type of movies. It was Casino. Okay. Was it Sharon Stone in it?
Yes. So Robert De Niro plays Samuel Adelson. It's not a biography, but that's who they are. That's who they're displaying. Samuel Adelson, before he died, he was like the 12th richest man in America. His wife, Miriam Adelson, is the woman who gave Donald Trump $250 million on behalf of the American Israeli Political Action Committee. You can vote till you blue in the face. You ain't got $250 million. You ain't moving nothing with your United Negro College Fund, honey. Miriam Adelson, that's just one Jewish person, gave that man $250 million on behalf of Israel. When her husband was alive, he bankrolled Newt Gingrich. He bankrolled George W. Bush Jr. He bankrolled Mitt Romney. So he is the kingmaker. Okay, the AIPAC only gave Kamala Harris $9.5 million. Now, people got mad at me during the election because I was pointing out that she was getting donations from the same people Trump was getting, just not as much. That her platform also said we got beef with Iran. We want war with Iran. Hillary Clinton said, as soon as I get in there, I'm going to bomb Iran. They've been messing with these people since before I was born. So it's disgusting when I hear and I see Black people at each other's throats, calling each other's names, because you on the Democratic side, and neither of those sides want you. It is immigrants coming in here and their first and second generations who are already here demanding that we get deported, that we get our citizenship taken from us because we act like animals. We act like fools. That's what they say. The very same people you want me to go protest for is sitting up talking in a language that you don't understand, which is creating a new segregation. Did you see the video of the lady down
you say it's
on
creating,
Redden Road and McGregor fighting
quick question.
clerk?
You say that it's creating a new segregation. What do you mean by that? I kind of think here, hold on.
Say habla español.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I need you to say that for the people. And by the way, it's kleiner intelecto Wyatt.
Sí, señor Wyatt. Se habla francés. Okay. So we get when you have these groups of people who will not naturalize, meaning they won't learn English, they won't accept American culture and standards. You have communities booming like in Dearborn, Michigan, full of Arabs. They speak Arabic, baby. In the store, when you come in there, you're not speaking Arabic. They calling you all kind of names. When you go to the nail salon and you getting your nails and your feet done, they're speaking Vietnamese, they're speaking Cantonese, they're speaking Mandarin. You don't know what
Hold on, I'm about to be messy one time. Have you seen the videos of in the nail shops where these girls are starting to, like, they're catching these the nail techs calling, our little sisters like broke and get your ass out of here, broke ass and stuff. Have you seen?
And then they start fighting all in the nail salon.
I normally don't do that because I like to be serious about it, but it's crazy. They're starting to get brave. They're starting, because it's a lot of those shops, of course, a lot of the Asian shops that do the nails and stuff. But I think what happens is the more of their people that start coming over and opening up businesses and stuff, I think they don't have to cater to us kind of, the way they used to. They used to have to take our bullshit.
And see, then you got to talk about Trump administration and what he did in response. The Small Business Administration just put down a law that if you are immigrant, we are no longer funding your small business. That was a problem. People were coming here to get government benefits to start their businesses. Only thing you needed was a tax ID and go to the Small Business Administration and they would fund you down. That's out of the window. You're no longer getting Section 8 and the housing is no longer marked out for you if you're not a U.S. citizen. I don't care that you don't like Trump. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you're prioritizing U.S. citizens before other people who come into this country. Our people are homeless. And it's like talking to a brick wall that we don't understand that. People try to minimize the homelessness of Black people. But the fact is the fact. And then another thing, why I'm gonna hang up a promise. Why are you mad that 300,000 Black women lost their jobs, but you didn't give a damn? When I was telling you, Black men are so unemployed, we lose $50 billion a year. And instead of organizing yourself.
Wasn't that a conversation a year ago? Wasn't that a conversation between you and I right here on the platform a year ago? Because people get mad at what they supposed to get mad at. People, people activate anger on purpose. Keep track of what they want people to be mad at. It'll be a new thing next week. The war is what it is, and then it'll be a new thing next week. But go ahead.
And the messiness. We know Wyatt got a 1:00 p.m. show that's different from what y'all used to hearing. Ain't no reason to keep dragging that man's show. The 1 p.m. I be reading y'all comments. The 1 p.m. podcast is brainwashing you. You waiting on Twin, so Twin waiting on his 1 p.m. daddy so he can know what to talk about so he don't get it right. Y'all need to cut that out. Stop. We are losing as a group because we don't have unity. You get off on messy shit. You get off on gossip and immaturity. We're almost 50. This administration don't give a damn about nobody, just like the last one, just like the one before that. I remember me and Black Lion had got on Blake Aware because Obama called himself a mutt. He said, I'm not necessarily a black man. I'm a mutt, like most of us in America. I'm not a mutt. Okay, I'm not a mutt. I called
myself a mutt yesterday, and it wasn't because of I wasn't talking about my nationality, my being mixed. I was talking about because I have a combination of my mother and my father from being crook and book. You feel me? I wasn't talking about my nationality. So I did
All
say
I'm
something.
saying is the loyalty, the affinity that we have for these political parties, and I mean both of them. We need to put that down. James Carville told us, he was so bold. He is bold. Go look it up on YouTube. James Carville has been attacking Jasmine Crockett for 2 years. The fact that her bodyguard was murdered in the way that he was murdered, she said she gave the man an opportunity. She didn't know about his criminal background, and she just wants to see everything played out. Now they're trying to frame her up like she had some criminal felon that she was aware of, employed on government grounds, this and the third. And that's not what happened. She wasn't aware, just like nobody else was aware. But they demonized her because of the way that she fought back while she was in Congress. I'm not saying that what she said was always right, but didn't nobody cuss out Marjorie Taylor Greene? Didn't nobody check Nancy Mace? Didn't nobody call her ghetto? She wore lashes. Didn't nobody point out her lashes? But for Black Americans, it's really sickening that we get off on that mess, that drama, that we like to stay at each other's neck, knowing the sensitive situation that we're in. It would be so much better if we had more brothers like yourself and Stefan that would step out into the community and teach our young men boxing so that they ain't got to be scared to death Negroes running to get a gun every 2 seconds to shoot each other. Learn how to fight. Ain't nothing wrong with losing a fight. You can get up and live the next day. But we are so accustomed to letting the Democratic Party or the Republican Party dictate to us how we deal with each other that we so far down the road, our children don't respect us. And they won't listen to us because we're not talking to them. We're not telling them under the 13th Amendment, you can be re-enslaved. So I need you to get educated and stay out of crime. If your son gets shot, get him out the city. It's not safe for him. Don't let him get shot again. You understand what I'm saying? It's a way out, but we don't want a way out. We like the mess. We like the gossip and the drama and the ooh and the eyes. Ooh, I didn't know that about her. And ooh. That shit's stupid. These people were 80 years old. They're about to die, and they're going to leave us with a planet and a country with laws that our ancestors fought for that we can't benefit from. And it's like talking to a brick wall with some of us. Greg Landsman came in there and called the audience liars. Everybody was telling him that he was APAC funded, that it's on opensecrets.com. We see that the University of Cincinnati donated $30,000. We see Kroger's gave you $35,000, but we also see APAC gave you $1.8 million. If APAC is paying your elected officials more than what their state salary is, who are you going to listen to? That's why he pro-Iran war. And you ain't no better with Vivek Ramaswamy. I was listening to him last night saying he want to in Ohio colleges and consolidate them because it's too many. He's from India. He wants to displace American workers for H-1B workers from India. They want to get out of the slum. They want to come to America. They want to rule the IT sector. They want to be the CPAs and the choice CEOs. So he went on Twitter and he said Americans were stupid, watched too much TV, and they needed H-1B workers because we couldn't do the job. Because immigrants built America. Immigrants did not build America. Slaves built America. Our enslaved Africans built America. And I'm done. Promise to God.
All right. Well, I appreciate you engaging with us today, sis, leaving us with a lot. A lot. I appreciate you, Marquetta. Thank you for calling in. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to me, Brother Wyatt.
Right,
you adored.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. That's Marquetta. I believe Denise Davis, I think, in the comment section. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's my time. I got a couple minutes before I get to the top of the hour. And then I'm, like I told you guys earlier, I'm working from home here. So I got to get back to work. But I appreciate the comments. I appreciate everybody that has a comment. I appreciate everybody's opinion. I appreciate everybody who agrees, disagrees, or whatever, whether you think I do or I don't. I really do. I care how we work together. I just think that sometimes it's hard to find a common ground, which is understandable. But we got to find one. We got to find one. And I'm just a firm believer that Black folks, our common ground is not through politics. That's just me. That's just my opinion. It's not Democrat. It's not Republican. Because neither one of those groups have us first. And we've been overlooked for years. And I don't understand why we don't talk more about that. I mean, there's people out here that do, but for some odd reason, a lot of us who talk like that don't get the same traction. I mean, I know why. It's structural. It's structured that way. Most of the people who want us to be a certain way, and they're on platforms, they're generally getting paid for those opinions. You know, somebody said something. Muhammad Ali's wife. Y'all probably may remember this, okay? And I don't want to say it too fast because I remember it, but sometimes it comes out wrong. Muhammad Ali's wife said this. She said this about Don King. She said, Don King ain't about Black people and he ain't about white people. He about green people. He said, Don King is Black, act white, but he don't care nothing but about the green. See what I'm saying? He play that brother shit. When he get around white folks, he act like them white folks. And then when he get around, but he's really just about the green. It was his second wife, DH. It's the one who has Layla. Said he has the one that had Layla. It's the one that don't like all the rest of the wives. But that's pretty. I'm gonna take this one last call because I got 3 minutes left. If I don't know who this is, I'll do the best I can. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. I got 3 minutes. Can you get it in 3 minutes, whoever this is?
Yeah, this is Mike.
Mike, what's up, bro?
I was calling based on that call that you took from the Black Lion.
Yeah.
And it just was a strange call because, I mean, that man is calling a Black man out for, backing the white president, but he's defending the 8 white people. Like, so I just don't understand. Like, so like I said before, like, I just believe that, Black people, they pick and choose which white folks they want to defend. And that's what I just saw about that. Because I'm like, I mean, if you so much against white people, I mean, why are you defending the white people that's that you call being disrespected. And it's like when you put out a form of disrespect, you can't cap the disrespect that comes back to you. So if they got a sign out that's saying swastika, you know, whatever they want to call as disrespect, how can you be mad at how disrespect come back to you? Because one person, they might push you. Just because you push me don't mean that I gotta push you back. I might smack you. I might do anything that is still in the form of an assault or whatever I feel that the retaliation that from your action. So I don't know. I just felt like, you know, him coming at the black man for him being aggressive with the white people that he so-called don't like is crazy. But at the same time, I watched the Lincoln Ware show and he come at Lincoln Ware crazy. So, I mean, so what we doing? We just picking and choosing who we want to attack? Like, I don't understand that.
Bro, Mike, where you from? Where you from, bro? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm from Cincinnati.
Okay, Cincinnati, Mike. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. And that's just odd. You know, I was a little thrown back. Black Lion, my brother. I ain't gonna even front. Like, we have so much in common. We agree on a whole lot of things, but today we just didn't agree. But I kind of had that same type of vibe. That's why I told him, I was like, bro, what happened? You know, I don't understand how, you know, you talk about them people, but then you feel like they shouldn't have been, you know, like you don't. I think what it is, Mike, is if it was anybody other than Trump that they was talking about,
exactly.
I think it would have been a different situation. Just like I tried to use black folks. I said, if it was black folks out there with the sign, I think that Free Game would have felt a little bit different about it. Because I think that we tend to unify about certain things, but the simple fact that it was white people in the black community. Do you understand my point that I was making with the black folks being and the white folks being in the white community? They seem to always want to be in our shit, but you know, they don't face the consequences that we face in our communities. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they vote certain judges in, they vote certain officers in, they vote certain city council members in, and then they fall back. And all that trauma and disarray happens in our communities, and they live somewhere in one of the nice protected communities, and they don't have to face any of those consequences. That's all I'm saying. And it be those same older people or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that Free Game was respectful, but all I'm saying is like what you said. If you come outside with some shit on your shirt being disrespectful to people, you see what I'm saying? Don't get upset if somebody blow the smoke back at you. That's all I'm saying. And just because somebody said it with a sign don't mean that somebody ain't gonna be vocal about it. That's all. It's all the same. And then, like you said, going back to what you're saying, it's like, okay, if you come out, like, y'all want to bring all that down in the ghetto. Let's just call it the ghetto. So let's just say, for instance, you want to protest and win terrorists. So now let's just say, for instance, a group of black guys come out and say, hey, we just gonna join in the chaos. Now they get to tearing their own neighborhood up, fighting, shooting, and them same white folk going out to, you know, Indian Hill or wherever they from and leave y'all with the destruction. Well, here go the thing.
Of course,
here go the thing.
Take that madness out of there, because I mean, let's just be honest. Majority of black people in these black communities, you know, in the urban communities and all that, they don't give a damn about no politics. You know, so you could go to somewhere else with that to the people that it really might matter to.
Right, I understand. And one of the questions, I'm going to get this to Jerica because she's absolutely right. She says, where do the protesters live? I think that would have been a comment, that would have been a question that the person who organized that thing or who was defending them may have. See what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't hear anybody say when the young man was asking, well, when Free Game was asking, y'all don't even live here. Well, y'all take that shit out the nation. None of them said, yeah, I live around the corner, or I live in the old folk, that assisted living down the street. None of them said any of that. A lot of them were afraid to say anything. They just didn't say anything. Yeah. And I know it was because of the aggression, but my thing is, you can't come out with aggressive verbiage on signs. And yeah, you might not agree, but somebody that supports that man being the president of the United States, if somebody supports him, you're offending that person. Whether you like, okay, if a bunch of white folks came to Winton Terrace or into a black community and had F. Kamala Harris signs during that time, or was being derogatory on signs against Kamala Harris, y'all would have all the smoke in the world for them people.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Y'all had the smoke when somebody said her name wrong. I mean,
Right.
people was saying things, making up point or having points or whatever, having disagreements of how they didn't want to vote for her or whatever, and y'all made it a big ass task, or it was like jumping over the entire building if somebody had a disagreement. You couldn't even have a difference of opinion about that lady before somebody jumped on your ass about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I gotta go, bro. Hey, call back tomorrow if you can, if you're free or whatever.
I appreciate it, man. Go. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Mike from Cincinnati, thanks for checking in with us, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for engaging. Folks, I gotta go. I'm on the schedule at 4:30 and I gotta prep for a meeting. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace and love to everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, Friday is our 6th anniversary. I hope you're here to celebrate it with us. Peace and love to everybody, man. Sometimes I don't want to live no more.
Death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. I know how it feel to wake up fucked up. Pockets broke as hell. Another rock to sell. People look at you like you's the user, selling drugs to all the losers, mad Buddha abuser. But they don't know about your stress-filled day. Baby on the way, mad bills to pay. That's why you drink Tanqueray, so you can reminisce and wish you wasn't living so devilish. Shit, I remember I was just like you, smoking blunts with my crew, flipping over 62s, cause GED wasn't B-I-G. I got P-A-I-D, that's why my mom hate me. She was forced to kick me out, no doubt. Then I figured out niggas went for 20s down south. Packed up my tools for my raw power move. Glock 19 for casket and flower moves. For Trump's trying to stop my flow. And what they don't know will show on the autopsy. Went to see Poppy to cop me a brick. Asked for some consignment, he wasn't trying to hear it. Smoking mad Newports cause I'm doing court for an assault that I caught in Bridgeport, New York. Catch me if you can like the gingerbread man. You better have your gat in hand, cause man, I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. I had the master plan. I'm in the caravan on my way to Maryland with my man 2-Tex to take over this project. They call him 2-Tex, he told 2-Tex. And when he stopped the bus, he like to ask who's next. I got my honey on the Amtrak with the crack in the crack of her ass. 2 pounds of hash in the stash. I wait for her to make some quick cash. I told her she could be lieutenant, bitch got gas. At last, I'm literally lounging black, sitting back counting double-digit thousand stacks. Had to re-up to see what's up with my peeps. Toyota dealer gone, had it cheap on the Jeep. See who got smoked, what rumors were spread. Last I heard I was dead with 6 to the head. Then I got the phone call, it couldn't hit me harder. We got infiltrated, like Nino at the Carter. Heard Tech got murdered in the town I never heard of by some bitch named Alberta over nickel-plated burners. And my bitch, swear to God she won't snitch. I told her when she hit the bricks, I make the hooker rich. Conspiracy, she'll be home in 3. Until then, I looks out for the whole family. A true G, that's me, blowing like a bubble in the everyday struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. I'm seeing body after body, and I'm Mayor Giuliani. Ain't trying to see no black man turn to John Gotti. My daughter use a potty, so she's older now. Educated street knowledge, I'm a molder now. Trick a little dough, buying young girls' fringes. Dealing with the dope fiend binges. Seeing syringes in the vein. Hard to explain how I maintain. The crack smoke make my brain feel so strange. Breaking days on the set, no sweat. Drunk off my wet, can't bag yet because it's still wet. But when I drive back at 5 at a time, I can clock about 9 on the check. got me scared, yo. They got an 8, I got a tech with air holes. And that's just how the shit go in the struggle, motherfucker.
Come on. What you say?
I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug jungle. Another day, another struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug jungle. Another day, another struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug jungle. Another day, another struggle. I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug to juggle. Another day, another struggle. To the mafia. Right.
Yeah.